比毛都做的样。
包都包有。
ယူ
哦，YouTube 干嘛弄呀？
我知道。
买弄你。
အောင်မြင်နေတာ तू မသိဘူးသူအောင်မြင်နေတာ तू မသိဘူးပေးလိုက်တာဆိုတာ
ဘာဖြစ်မှလို့လား
ငါတို့အဆောက် YouTuber စပင်မှာ TikTok က
把那路没没丢掉了，中央。
这边也连不了，这个呢连不了。
OK
这个没得好运哦。
အညာဟဲ့ပြောနေတာမသိဘူး
我还要了嘛，回头了。
好棒了。
我还应该嘛的嘛这个。
ကလောကလည်းခင်းရှိလားရှိလားကြမြ
ရှိပါဘူး
ရှိပါဦးနော်ကလောက
ရှိဘူးမရှိဘူးဒီကဟိုကအစိုးရမျိုးတော့မှသွားပြီးတော့ဟိုင်းခန်းလုံးတော့အုံနောက်နေလည်းနေအောင်
အဲ့ဆိုရကောင်းလို့ရဘလို့
ဝင်ထမ်းမျိုးတော့ဒီကွာဒီအမှသွားလို့ပင်ကွိကွာမှာပေါ့တခါတည်း
အော်ဝင်လို့ဆိုလေဒီမှာငါတဲ့ဟိုပေါက်ပြောင်းဝင်နေ
哎呀，不是别打了，别。
ငါမလို့ငါမလို့
我歪了你。
နေမကောင်းလို့မပေါ့ငါဒီမှာငါပြောင်းဝင်ဟုတ်လားငါမသိ
那俺别回去了没？我肉别炒起来了。我那明天我那肉别做了。你得洗，你空哪里？
အေးလူမှာပို့တာနော်လင်းပို့တာနော်ခင်ဗျားရွာအမျိုးတွေပါလောက်ခိုင်းလိုက်နောက်ပိုင်းအောင်မြင်သွားရင်ဟိုက giveaway ပေးမှာမလို့
တော့ငါဝင်မရောက်ဘူးဘာဖြစ်တော့
丢了，俺们啥用？把这没，把这妈，你那个叫没把这变成哪里？
ကမောဘလို့ဖြစ်လို့ရှားရီပဲလာလူတွေပေါ်တယ်ရတော့ရရင်ဘာလို့ဟာပြင်းနေမချိုက်ပဲ
没看好米呢，
အောင်မြင်နေတာဒီကြည့်လို့တားများလားကြောက်
这怪吧，真的是。他第一队的吧，哇，这个。
တက်ကြီးဗလိုင်းလိုက်လား
ဘာလာပြရ
တက်ကြီးဗလိုင်းလိုက်လား
ဘာရောဟာမုံလို့ဘာဖြစ်လဲအတားပါ
那个用不饱了啊？怎么样哟？
အလောက်အတဲမှာထင်းမှာမင်းသားယူခဲ့တာပြီးတော့
哦，来了。
ဒီပဲ
哦，前面就记不要，前面就记不要，我喏，没人收一个前面。
ဟိုကောင်လေးကွာကောင်လေးအလိုက်ကန်းလုံးမသိ
高嘛。
အဲ့အောင်ဒါကြီးသေးမရဘူးရော
稍微加。
ဇုံးရတာကြီးနေလို့သေးမရဘူး
哎，我等会儿，要他没回来了啊，哇，早点我了。哎，对了，那他回来了。
ရှုပ်တယ်ကွာလက်မျက်နှာကြီးအုပ်ထားလိုက်ဒီမျက်နှာကြီးအုပ်ရတယ်မလားမသိ official ဟာမှာပြမှရမယ်တင်တယ်
那也俺搞不无聊。
啊？
ကွာ
出来把我那样。
俺们这加一种那个。
没咯。
用啊，到那头的啊，
你当俺还没听呢。
哇，不没买哇，吸引人家不要看。
你买呢？没来他让俺多手里把路里他们没得。
没有，我那来都，俺的爱人来的，俺这里搞。哎，也他没烫了。
official ရှိရမှာအကွန်ဖက်အဲ့ဒါ official ရှိမှာတယ်နော်
ဘယ်မှာလာရ
ဟောဒီဒီတို့ဟာမဟုတ်ပဲနဲ့
ဟာနင်းနေငါချောက်တော့နင်းနေတုံးလေးတုံးနေ
โอเค
အဲ့ဒါမင်း YouTube ပါ LIBBY 21
YT
โอเคလားအချိန်လေးပြောင်းလာမယ်ဗျကျောင်းမနဲ့
ထိုင်အောင်
hey
အဲ့ဒါထိုင်အောင်
hey hey
မင်း YouTube နာမည်ပါရင်ဘယ်လို
LIBBY 21YT
အဲ့မလေးဟိုကမင်းကလင်းပို့ထားတယ်ကွာဒီတစ်ခေါက်မှာ
ဟိုကလက်ကော
hello
ဟော
what can
LIBBY 21YT ရဲ့
ဒီမတွေ့ဘူးဟောအားပြောတာ
video ဘန်ဝိုင်း
ဟိုကနေလို့တော့ကိုမထားတော့တော့
အောင်မြင်တဲ့ကောင်တို့လည်းမပါမပြဟုတ်
တက်တယ်နေလိုက်
မတွေ့ဘူးတကယ်မတွေ့တာရအောင်
ဒီကိုပတ်
ကျန်တေးမနဲ့လင်းဖို့စမှာရအောင်
โอเคအဲ့အောင်
အပြည့်စုံရေးတာပဲတေချာလေး
အတန်မှမပါတဲ့ကိစ္စအများကြီးတော့ရပါ
ဟုတ်ပါမရပြီတော့
အဲ့ဒါလည်းတော့ဒီဟိုဝယ်ရတာကွာအဲ့မင်းလိုင်းချင်းကြည့်ပါလား ငါဘကတော့ဟောလို့တော့လိုက်နေတော့ဝေးအားရလိုက်စုပြန်လာဟဲ့
ပြီးတော့လား
ဟမ်
ပြီးတော့လားလို့ဟိုနေ့ကအခုဒီကန်ကုန်းကန်ရနေ
အေးရရ
ဟိုဝင်းဝင်နေတာမင်းက
ကြောက်
ဘူးရ
ကြောက်နေ
အောင်မြင်မဲ့တနေ့
ဘူးရတယ်မတော်ဘူးဟုတ်တယ်အဲ့ဒါလည်း
ကြောက်နေတယ်
ဘယ်
ပြီး
တော့ကဲလာဘယ်တော့ကဲလာ
ကန်လေးဘူး
အဲ့ဒီကနေ့ကဟိုနဲ့ဆော့ကြတယ်မြေ
ကန်ရဲမင်းငါနဲ့ကန်ရဲ
ဒီကနေ့ညမှာတော့တက်ပြတဲ့ကကြည့်တော့ဟိုဝင်ကြည့်လိုက်မှာ
ကြောက်နေတာငါနဲ့ငါ့ကိုကြောက်နေတာရအောင်
ဟုတ်တယ်ဟုတ်တယ်
လာလေးရတော့
မဲ
ငါ
ခဲတာ
ဟမ်
ခဲတာ
မဟုတ်မင်းရကြတော့ဒီကစောကြီးကန်လို့မရဘာလို့ဆိုတော့နည်းနည်းလက်ကဆွေးမှကန်လို့ရတမန်ကျော် trainer ပါ
အဲ့ဒါမင်းဝေးပန်းနေတာ
မဲပြောရတဲ့တတိတော်လေးပြောရတဲ့တတိတော်လေးစားတယ်
ဟုတ်တယ်အဲ့ဒါတက်ပြန်လာဖန်တယ်မှာဝင်တော့ဟမ်
ပြောင်းလိုက်လို့ဒီနေ့ဒီတော့တော့ဘာလို့ Telegram ဘုတ်တီးပြီးမှပြန်ဒီပါတော့ငါလည်းခဏဖြစ်တယ်ဟိုတခြားလို့လုပ်ကြည့်လိုက်လို့ရအောင်ဒီလားဟိုလေ Telegram ဘုတ်တီးပြီးမှပြန်ဝင်တယ်ငါလည်းဖြစ်တယ်ခဏအောင်မယ်နော်
မဟုတ်ဘူးငါတို့ကကွာမတ်ဆက်တယ်ကိုလုံးဝ join လို့မရဘူးနဲ့ဖြစ်နေတာဟိုလိုကတော့ဝင်လို့ရတယ်ဂိမ်းနေရ
ဟုတ်
လို့
လို့အဲ့ဒါငါလည်းထောင်တော့ခဲ့ပါတော့လို့ရှင်နော်
အဲ့ဒီနေရာလုံးထောင်တော့ထောင်ကြည့်တာတော့
ချမ်းသာဆန်းတော့ကြည့်ကြမှာရအောင်ငါတို့ဆန်းတော့ကြည့်
โอเคရရင်ရမင်းရရင်ရမင်း
ငါတို့မရောက်ဆိုရင်တော့အကုန်လုံးပြပါတက်လို့ပဲနေ
အဲ့
前面背着，也大高一点。
ရှိရဟုတ်
快点说完了没得？快点点，快点点。
ကွင်300နဲ့တည်းရောက်လာပြီငါတို့ကွင်300ရောက်ဟုတ်ပြီမေးလာလေနောက်မကြတော့ဘူးအခု player တွေအကုန်ရောက်ပြီ player တွေရောက်နေပြီဟုတ်လားပိတ်ရတော့ရတော့ပိတ်ရတယ် invite လုပ်ထားပါလေဘူးကွာအချိန်မှာတခါလည်းညှိပလိုက်ရော့ရပါလေဇိုးလေးဖုံးစုပ်နေတာဟယ်လိုကန်နေပြီလုံးမရကောင်းလိုက်တာစိတ်ပြတ်ဖို့လားငါနဲ့အဆင်ပြေတယ်ရောကန်စနေပြီအခုစပြီဟုတ်လားအဲ့ဒါလည်းမကောင်းဘူးဟုတ်မှာကျန်တာကြောက်နေတပည့်ကတော့ဒီအားရကျန်တာကြောက်နေမှာကြောက်နေမှာဒီကောင်းလားဟာဘလို့လုံးတကလန်ရိလောက်ပါနဲ့ဟေးရောက်ပြီကိုးတာမာကတ်တူရဲကိုလီစီယာမဲကောင်းလိုက်တဲ့လူတွေကြောက်ဖို့တော့ကောင်းလားဟေးဘီလီရောရောက်ပြီနောက်ကိုလာတီးတော့ပါနဲ့တကူကပေးလိုက်ရပြီအဲ့နှစ်ကူဗျဟ ဒီကနာတော့မှအဲ့ဒါနိုင်လာရှိအောင်မှာ
ငါမတော့ကြာပြီပေါ့ဘူးလေးကတော့တော့တော့ဘူးတော့မနေတော့
ဒီလားလုံးမပေါ်ငါလည်းတိုင်းလောက်လို့ရတာတော့ကြာရင်တော့ငါ
ရှောင်းပြောနေရသူတို့နှစ်ယောက်ဘောလုံးကန်နဲ့ငါတွေ့တယ်ရနှစ်ယောက်သားဘောလုံးကန်နဲ့ငါတွေ့တယ်ခါချောင်းနဲ့တော့မဟုတ်
ပြောနေပါပါတော့ဆောက်တော့ပြည်တယ်ညညခိုးကနေပြောနေအောင်လို့ပဲ
အေးလို့ခိုးကန်နေတာမင်းငါတွေ့တဲ့ကိစ္စနဲ့မကန်ဖြစ်ပါဘူးလေ
ပနေကန်ကန်လာကန်လာပဲရ
ဒီကငါအောက်ကွာတော့
ဟိုကြည့်ဦးရမလို့လို့
မမမင်းနာကျုံတော့ကမြော
ဟေးပြေးနေဟေးကန်ပတ်ပြီနော်ကန်ပတ်ပြီနော်
အစနေဘောတော့
ဟိုဒီကောရဘရိတ်ကောဒီကောရဘရိတ်အဲ့ဒါကိုတော့
ဟာဘောလုံးဘလို့ထိန်းုံကောင်းကြီး
မင်းကလားမင်းကောရဘရိတ်တောင်းကတော့ပေါင်းတယ်လို့မင်းနေကောနေပြီလား
ဒီဟာနမေကြီး
ဒီတော့နေတော့ပေါ်လာတော့ပေါ်နာဘရိတ်
ဟာဘလို့ပေးတော့ကွာအေးဘောလုံးကြော်ကိုမကြော်တာဟေးမေးပြောကွင်းလေကိုမကြော်တော့
ရတာဖြုတ်နေရောက်တော့
မကန်တာတော်တော်ကြာသွားလို့တင်နေ
လူရောကလောက်ရဖိုင်
啊，弟弟哥哥呢？嘿，哦，过得很容易啊！呀，你说叫怪比的呢？
အားလုံးမှာ
ဟိုမှာသူကြီးကြီးတွေရောက်ရင်
我们打的一起讲的，嘿，
ရတာဘီကနာလောက်ကြာမှာနော်ဒီရှိပဲ
ဒီပုံစံနဲ့တော့ကမ်းဘက်ဖို့လည်းညက်နိုင်တော့ဦးတင်နေဟိုဘက်ကမြင်လာတော့ကွာဒန်ဘီလီရောငါလုံးမအိုလီစီရော
တမတီ
အော်ဟောတော်လေးနိုင်မနိုင်ကြိုင်မှာနော်ကြွပြောထားတာ
တတိယရတာကောင်တားကြုံလာဆိုတဲ့ဟာရောက်သွားပြီပေါ့အော်လောက်သွားတယ်ကြောင်တော့ကြာတော့ကွာသူလေးကမနေတော့ကွာသူလေးအညာဖြစ်နေနိုင်
ဟိုဘက်ကကင်သူများရသူများဘက်ကကင်သူများရ
အားလုံးမှာ
ကျော်နေတာလို့ငါပြောနေတယ်ခွေးကောင်ရဲ့
ငါကစနေတယ်မီ
ရောက်လေအားလုံးကြည့်တယ်ရောက်လို့ဘာဘီဘယ်လိုသွားပြီးနေအောင်
hey right ဟာမမရောက်3စီးနဲ့နိုင်တော့ရောက်လူတုတ်သေးတာဗျာဟဲ့မမရောက်တော့ကြည့်မကောင်းရောက်3စီးနဲ့နိုင်တော့ဆက်လက်ကထိုးသေးတာထိုးမလားဒီမှာထိုးမလားကောင်းနာနီက
ငါကျတော့
ကန်ဘက်ဘီရောက်ရေးကန်ဘက်ဘီကန်ဘက်ဘီနော်
အာမကြီး what the hell အော်မင်းလူရပေးနော်ပေးနေရ
ဒီတော့
ဘယ်တော့မှကောင်းလိုက်လား
ကြည့်တယ်
ကြည့်ကြည့်
တော့အဲ့လိုဒီ
စတင်ပြီးတော့ကန်ဘက်ပါပြီခင်ဗျ
ဒီကေရမငါတရားစစ်ကြီး
10ရောက်17ရောက်ယူမှာမဆုံးရှုံနော်
မတော်ကောင်းလားဒီကေရပါအဲ့ပကေးတောင်ပြပေါက်တာကြောက်တယ်မင်းဒီကောင်းကြီး
哦，我一打面那边啊，不要搞的
အာ
啊，我买，年那个几百，我打。
အာဒီပဲအဲ့ကောင်ကောင်းတော့မင်း
啊，熊改的也比较，这这有的不要改嘛样嘛。我觉得，同意，哇，你说，
တော့ငါမကန်တော့လိုက်ကြမင်းကောင်းနေမှာကန်တော့
အာလူကိုဘလို့ပေးညာတော့ငါ
当然不的。哦，我说变不
အာတဲ့နေတာကြီး
把的，把都懂了，
ကြည့်လိုက်ဟောဟောချက်တော့
就走的，不走。
အာလူပေးတာကွာပုံမလာတာငါအကောင်နဲ့
ဘုံကန်လိုက်တာဒီတော့ဒီတော့တာပြောငါပြောအာဟုတ်ကဲ့
อืม
高呢要去弄真相，最高呢后天要去高设备家里哈，土地也高了，土地高呢高呢。
လူမနိုင်တော့နတ်မနေတာရောင်ရပါမဟုတ်
အာမတော့ငါ့ကိုပြလိုက်
你没看见吗？
ယုံကြီးရတာလူတွေကဘလို့ pass ကိုဘလို့ပေး pass ကမှန်နေရောပဲ
ရတာကော
အာရတာပတ်စစ်ဆောင်ကောင်းတာရတာပတ်စစ်ညဆောင်းကောင်းတာ
come back
ဘိုင်ကွာ
，come on，wait， 哦，记着啊，我明明有我要不了。啊，
ဟာဘ
我
လို့
不要，不要，不要。快，走了罗要。哦呀，处理高，比亚路的话要我怎么？
မင်း that's it come back ယုံကြီး3စီးနဲ့ရှုံးတော့ပထမပိုင်းနေ3လုံးပြန်သွင်းလိုက်ပြီဗျ
ဘာဝကြီးလို့တားရဲ့ဟေးဟုတ်တယ်
我把你弄干的，我把你弄干的。都得弄几头把米弄干，都得弄几。对了，像昨天米弄干呀。
မမမုတ်သေးနဲ့ဟာမုတ်တော့
ဒီပြရရလာတော့ရလာမလားကြည့်တော့တာတော့
你跟我忙。
ဒီကမင်းကတည်းကဒီကူရတယ်ကဲတော့ကျွန်တော်မင်းကတော့ပဲ
冬天的话，基本上没打面啊，就。
30ကမ်းဘက်ပြပြီ
哦，要一。那我进入这个球站里嘛，怎么样？
我要抽的，他不了看的，我傻逼呀！
အော်ပို့ပြီလားအေးရောင်းနေ
啊，要一。
ဟာဘလူးပေးတာတော့ရောင်းတာအမှန်ကန်ရောင်းတာကွာငါ့ကိုရောင်းတာညီပေးတော့လည်းလုပ်တယ်ကာရာကျုံးလာတာအေးကောင်းနိုင်လား
啊，你根本不用。哇。现在没有，这把也没少人比啊，没看有，这都比也高。
他们面上我不懂的。
ဘာလို့မတော့မှကြတော့ဘာလို့မ
这把也少人比啊，都没有。啊？
ဟာငါရှိကြတဲ့ဘောလုံးငါဘလူးကြော်อ่ะရှုံနေပြီအထိုင်ရင်ရှုံနေပြီဟောနေဖီဂိုအေးရောင်းနေဟာကျော်ထိတော့ ဟာဘလူးကန်တော့ကွာဒီဘလူးကန်တော့ ဒုတိယပညာမှာဘာလို့လာရှုပ်ညာလို့ဘိုးတွေရမယ်ဟောဘိုးတွေမရဘူးပြနေတယ်လောမေးပေးရောအေးနိုင်မနိုင်ကိုင်ပြည့်ဟာအပိတ်မရှိဘူးလို့ကောင်းစိ ဘလူးပေးရတော့တော်သေး Yo, pitတော့မယ်နည်းနည်း drop it ကြည့်ရတော့မယ်ဟေးဟုတ်ပြီမြုံဟာလီဂျရက်ကြီးကွာဟာဂျရက်ရင်ဘလူးကန်တော့သိညင်တယ်ဆွဲလာလူဆွဲပြဟာကောင်ရမချင်းနေတော်ပြီတင်နေဒီမဲ့ကွာ10ယောက်17ယောက်ကြီးကိုလူကြီးရောကောင်းနေ
တော်ရ
အိုဒီကဒါပဲပဲကိုနေအသေးခွဲကိုနေ
ရောက်ဘယ်လိုပြောရအောင်
တော့ဖိုးနေကိုပဲ ကမ်ဘက်တာပထမပိုင်းကနေอ่ะ ဆုံးမိနစ်လေးမှာနောက်ဆုံးဂိုးလေးများဖြစ်နေမလားဘလူးကြီးကောင်းလူးကြီးကောင်းတိတ်တော့ချိန်ဘူးနေတော့ချင်ဘူးခါလေးပြတ်ဖြတ်မယ်ဒီကောနော်အချိန်ဘူးသွားကြမယ် อะไรอีกโอ้ย
what the fuck ငါလည်းမပြောင်းပါ
啊，马里马路，啊，
အောက်ကိုပြေးအခီမီညနေဟာတော်ပြီ
啊，靠边点用。
အော်ဦးဒီကဲရေဘလူးကြီးကန်နေရတော့ဟိုပေါ့လက်ကားလွဲသွားပြီနော်
啊，我都没修。
ရောက်ပြီ
都这个。
ရောက်ရပြပန်းစားနေပြီပြပန်းစားနေပြီ
刚才说没有，进不进？你看上上。那前两天人家那边呢，我老嘛，叫嘛，把人家啊，我哎。
ဘာဖြစ်လဲအဲ့လူပါတော့
啊，不要，我干不要交身。
ဟောပြောင်းဝင်မခါနေနာနေပါရေးကြီးနေတယ်
啊，我去，都是。
ရေးရွှေ့ပေးမယ်ရွှေ့ပေးမယ်
不过吧天亮了见嘛啦
有啊，这边还没那个。
冇哩要不要了看来
那边不过来。
OK 呀
ရငါဂိမ်းအတန်ထည့်ပေးမယ်ပြီးရင်ဂိမ်းအတန်ထည့်ပေးမယ်နော်အဲ့ဒါဟိုဟာကြီးကျွန်တော်အခန်းကဖော့မကတ်သေးလို့အိပ်ပန်းကတန်နေထွက်နေ
啊，那边没看见在这里。你比较高了。你别把高用。我马上都背哪里呀？你当这么严？
哎马赛路背了
你看，这背不高。
အဲ့လိုဂိမ်းအတန်မကြားရဘူးမလား
Small stun, but now the Barats as well as the Carrara. Team Spirit is already starting off very strong in their band.
Yeah,
ရပြီလား
I don't know if part of them is just really complacent that Yangon is likely not gonna pull off a Pakito Gold anyway. Because I don't think Sanji has ever gotten his hands on a fighter gold lane. So the possibility of them still getting that is very high. And you see it right now, Claude is gonna be locked in by Yangon. So the Pakito possibility is again still available for Spirit if they wanna lock in their side lanes right now.
Some very good composition. in
အဲ့ဒါ
the
တော့
lane
မှာ
from
ကျွန်တော်
Marcel.
ဟိုပေါ့တွေကဝယ်ထားပြီးသားတွေမကတ်ဘူး
Comfort for Sanji. Blinks on a top tier
စ
hero.
ပွန်ဆာလေးပေးလိုက်မ
You
လား
gotta look at this.
quality ကောင်းတဲ့မိတ်လေးဝယ်ရအောင်
Harara and the Barats. I mean, it's arguable that the Barats might be the most contested, most valued pick between these two teams.
Oh yeah, for sure. Speaking of Rick, today you can be the analyst. You can do the tellers or you've been
ဂိမ်း
calling
ဇော်နေတာမ
this
လို့ကတ်တာ
picks very well. So now for Team Spirit, either they get rid of the mid laners or get rid of the
Game zone
junglers.
ni
Because
khana ni
right
ba.
now, I kind of feel like there's no real threat in the jungle for now, so they might just go for mid. The only question is, what are they going for? Instead, they're banning out the Guinevere, trying to make it very difficult for Han to really get a good pick.
So they're looking at YG just probably playing around the Claude instead, if that were to be the case, because it feels
Yeah.
like a Guinevere is more of utility.
No, because I like this ban because they understand if YG pick up something like a Yisun Shin, a Ling, that's going to take so long and they're going to lose so much pressure. And the meta right now, you need immediate pressure.
ဟို
in the
ဟာ
meta.
ဒီ
I think will accelerate what Spirit could do with their lineup because they're all on fighters. They have pretty much
Kala.
a very decent lane matchup for the sides, at least based on the first 3 picks that we're seeing from them. So they just really want to limit the options for Yangon to at least spread out and create the space for Sanji here. I think it really works.
I do have to say, if Team Spirit just wants to go much faster, they can even go for
ဟုတ်
something
တယ်
like a
ရင်က
Selena.
အေး
Oh, yeah.
ခင်ဗျားပြောဆိုပဲလောက်ကွက်ထွက်တဲ့အကောင်ကြီးတွေမှာ
Clear
ပြေးလို့
isn't
ကောင်း
going to be great unless they pick up a gold laner that can, basically clear faster. But here's the thing, if they do pick up a Selena, I think Team Spirit is just going to end the game pretty quickly. And now even the Lucas gets banned out. we've only seen one Lucas so far. Didn't actually do that well, but hey, maybe in scrims it's just something different.
Yeah, and they're probably digging deep because of the Valentina ban again.
By the way, that was in Bahasa, but they basically say, Kid Bomba, you're the best.
Oh,
In case anyone wants to know what
so
they
we
say.
have a lot more international fans now
Yeah.
for Spirit and Yangon. Oh, then the Cho gets taken out as well. And Spirit steal
Why
away the
didn't you go
Eudora,
there,
so
eh?
the only comfort, at least based on this tournament, that's available for Kai's is the Gourd, which I don't think is going to be a fun hero to play here in this lineup.
I don't think so. Maybe something like Akimi so they can pair well with the Marcel, but even Akimi, I think, will have a very bad time here. Do they want to play range? Because if they do, something like a Farsa might still be okay because the Hirara can jump onto you, but hey, you cross that bridge when you get there. But speaking of the Eudora pick, I'm 50-50 just because there is a Uranus there, so you can basically make it so that Eudora makes a mistake. But at the same time, you can time it whenever the claw wants to go in and then just stun them up and then kill them very, very fast.
I guess Spirit are just relying on their combo burst damage because at this point you're looking at Eudora, Paquito, Hirara. They can pretty much deal with any attacking hero if they get to a point where they've scaled enough in the game. But they do indeed lock in the Gourd alongside a Suyo. Yangon, it's always a Suyo last pick that you feel is kind of just them being forced to pick it up. But if they make it work this time, that's a great start for Yangon.
Well, here's the thing. As the draft progresses, we remember in the interview with Eterna where he could basically say that we have better drafts. And for now, I kind of got to agree with it. How do they get Barats,
Yeah.
Paquito, Hirara in the first three picks, and then pick number 4, they still get the Eudora? Like, this is an insane draft to get for this current meta.
This is like what Onyx got in the last game.
In the last game
first
against
series.
Falcons, yeah. And even we were like, wait, how did Onyx get that? That was no way another team is going to get that. But hey, c'est la vie, here we are. And the last pick is going to be Chill. So talk about trying to accelerate the game.
Okay.
This is kind of like almost no range. Eudora has range, but it's mid-range. I'm
Eudora
liking
can
Spirit's
go.
draft. This is the kind of draft that says like, you know what, Grand Finals, we're going all in.
Yeah.
I love it, guys. This is a big one. Marcel giving up. You see the Claude early pick, the Suyo, the Gourd for Kaize. Something that just feels familiar for YG. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And of course, Team Spirit say, we'll give you those. We got what we want. We're bombastic over here. Kid Bomba trying to lead them into a Game 1 win. But Undying might have something to say about that in the EXP lane. It's your grand finals here at MSC, a best of 7. And it's time to send it over to our casters, Mirko and Gideon, to get us started.
Thanks so much, Rain Day. Today, we bear witness to history in Mobile Legends. For the first time ever, 2 regions, not from a major, have made it all the way to the grand finals here at EWC for the mid-season Cup 2026. And by God, this is some life-changing moments. The money that's on the line, the series of full BO7.
It's a Cinderella story for both sides. YG finding a way to make it back to that top 2 after seems to be forever.
ဒီတလုံးမိမှရ
The journey
ဟိုဘက်ဖြဲလိုက်တာငါ
all the
တို့
way at M1. So, hey, we have that first blood rate comparison. We know that Spirit love to get it going quicker, but Yangon, they're actually still the ones that actually are the more active teams when it comes to just brawling.
TS want to keep it hot and heavy as naturally as they do because of the way that they play the game. Not to mention, they're running the double fighters. So far, Hiko's had an outstanding win rate here as his secondary fighter.
BB.
I think this game really just boils down to how does Yangon Galacticos wombo combo with each other. We've seen many times where Gord, even within the early stages of the game, if the combo ain't clean, you're not going to be able to find anything. And that's going to be an early flicker coming out from Sawo's side. No punish here for Yangon, but that's a big resource down.
Absolutely, man. We gotta also take into account the fact that Marcel has been left open, picked up by YG. And we saw the 3rd place match earlier how big this Marcel could play into the game. Was able to stop a lot of these slow range opponents. Back in that match, Onyx versus Falcons, it really stopped the Hirara as well. So YG are utilizing that, really just using Blink as a way to actually zone people away, trying to take that XP crab instead of Hanu actually secures it. Ying caught on the CC, lockdown, has to purify out.
Yep, you can see a lot of respect coming out from both of these teams. We're really coming back at it. We're seeing the TS now taking a lot of the space here forcing Yangon back just before the turtle. They want to make sure they get that first position really quick, and Kais understands that, hey, I need level 4. Without it, this ain't gonna work. So they're gonna back
ပွဲသားထိန်ပြပွဲသားထိန်ပြထားတာဘာမှမကတ်တက်လို့ငါတို့ထိုင်ကြည့်နေရတဲ့အဖြစ်
Make sure that they clean these lanes back up, because the next thing they have to worry about is Sawo hitting level 4.
ရစားပါခင်ဗျာရစားပါ
Spirit's game. Spirit just yesterday against Onyx in that crazy upset victory. They were able to take control of the game so early on through pickoffs, through finding tempo on the map, and YG, they don't want to fall for the same trap. They know, all right, we have a Suyo, we have also the Gord and the Claw that can play it late. Yig, no purified Bomba, puts out an attempt there with the death to his welcome, can't find it, but again, it's just YG trying to survive the lane, especially here up top. Oh, shortcut. Okay.
They summoned it really early on. Luckily, at the very least, while this is happening, look on that top side. Blink is already in position and trying to alleviate some pressure on Sanji, who's being denied his level 4. I mean, these are the small incremental leads that they're looking for, right? And that's what TS wants to do with the double fighter comp. Build these small leads and then eventually cause it to get up.
အေးကောမခင်ဗျားကျွန်တော်နဲ့ Discord တစ်ခုသွားလိုက်မယ်
Usually coming down to the third turtle, closer to the very first lord, and really taking the reins from that point onwards.
Sunset also had a fantastic performance just yesterday on Eudora, on all the mages actually. Flickering out of some crucial sets away from Onyx. YG, this is one of the first times that you'll see a big setting to on Blink, right? Mainly because of the Marcel. So it's also going to be a big question mark, because the only other time we've seen Blink on this Marcel was all the way into group stage. It's been a while.
It's true. If we're looking at it, you know, in boxing terms, I think the best way to describe it is it's Southpaw versus Orthodox, right? And Yangon, they understand where they need to play defensively, make sure that they don't set up potential dives to their gold laners. But in the meantime, because of their defense, now the dive.
Your fire with the lazy wet.
Oh, yeah, okay.
With the BMI as well. Now it's the
Give
golden
it-
hour plays down. I'm going to go with the blade surge and the soul 7.
ဟောယုံတူးယုံကြီးပြန်มาပြီးရလား
Take him low, it's taken out. Straight up by Sunset Lover. Sour's able to get the targetable dive frames, and he gets away in time. As look at Sawo.
No punish there. What could be
Tira,
a really great
tira.
combo. Good one-for-one trade ended up falling into the hands of a profitable win for TS. They're doing it again.
Shortcut of the crash course. Kaiser has to flicker out, and it's Team Spirit again with the early relentless pursuit on YG's jungle.
And that's the beautiful part about this composition, right? They're using that shortcut not as a means to just engage, but also control tempo. And now Ying is in a lot of trouble. He still has his Purify, but that's not no consecration.
Consecration made it early, even through the Purify Sour. Picks up a kill, now goes straight into the control objective. That's going to be free for Team Spirit.
Look, in the meantime, Nico, look, he's already trying to proxy this wave, and Sanji, he's well aware of this, right? Again, defensive against aggression, and Yangon understand that they have to play very defensively for the first couple of minutes of this game. Arguably now, with the 2-kill lead, the 3K deficit, that probably bought them an extra 4 more minutes on TS's side. So we're expecting probably around the 10th to 11th minute when Yangon get into position, unless we do see a huge turnover fight.
Now turret conversion down below. Bomba, man. Just like yesterday, getting he's conditioning YG to see these whiffs, and then all of a sudden he's going to pull off a crazy dead center flicker.
That's the beautiful part of it, right? Get the early conditioning down, because technically there's
he
nothing
got
that
Pierre, he got two one Pierre,
trying to get Sanji out of this lane, but they can't seem to do so, especially with Hiko. He's playing this really well. He's pressuring life totals. He's maintaining control.
Hiko sanji ကောင်းတယ်
Doesn't connect.
Yeah. Good reaction on Sanji. Could have had his Purify out taken. Spirit definitely want to play around that now, and Sanji's going to recall. That means Hiko will again be able to find a tempo up top, as now they look for a cut on mid. Kaizen has to flicker back up in 3. Spirit will play it slow. Look at Bomba.
They're playing so well, and now they want to collapse down in this mid-tier 1. If they don't get it, they might be able to contest for this purple buff, but I don't think they have it. As we look towards bottom side, even Zara making sure that Sanji feels the pressure.
cloud like game ကြည့်ရမှာပဲ
Shortcut's going to be dropped down. Bomba.
ကောင်းကဲ့
Okay.
For the chop. Purify out. Golden Hour catches 3. That might just the cut.
Go on,
Not too sure about that. Bomba's going to take it all the way through. He's going to
ဖြစ်တော့ဟေးဖြစ်တော့ဖြစ်တယ်ဟေးဘယ်တည်းရတော့
Yeah, we both saw this was going to be somewhat of a nothing fight here. No real commitment on either side, and more importantly, just not enough items to actually cut through all the base HP coming in from TS. They are still in the phase where it's their turn to play the game, and Yangon have to just defensively and honestly be really creative with these small little cheeses that Spirit have taken full advantage of. Whether it's in-lane baits, the pressure that they apply, and also the information that they give has been immaculate. Free turtle take.
Free everything. The first 2 kills were free. There was nothing to retaliate against it. The structures as well. And a mid-lane flank bursted down. Oh God. The Marcellas look so untouchable. Just being pick or ban every single time and wins. Oh God. Even when we see it open, when we see it pick, it dominates so early. But when you fall behind on it, especially against this burst comp, man, is he squishy.
Yeah, they're taking everything into condition here, right? They're making sure that whoever opens the map gets punished. A death is welcome connected.
Big chomp into Sunset Lever with the ball. Lightning straight up with the Thunderous Wrath as well.
用意đấu ra vào.
The immobilization. The blink will be zoned away just by the shortcut. Another health bar to deal with at the bottom lane. It will be a minion wave to play with. Team Spirit converting on these objectives. And YG cannot respond. That's a 4-level lead. Almost. Han gets sent.
They're just letting this happen, unfortunately. They're not using the golden hour as a creative tool to kind of retain some semblance of control over their waves.
Yeah, ta qua thấy đi.
Gonna go for the solo. Oh, under turtle.
Yeah, ตัวเพี้ยนนี่มาละ
Has to force Han away flank. Burst it down. That lethal ignition.
Connects, and it's good. Sanji, he's in trouble. He has to use the Purify alongside with his blade to stay alive. Denton is welcome. Connects again.
Defend bạo. Tì đấy.
Good Mystic Gush and the shutdown. Finally, YG. It took him 8 minutes to get on the board.
Finally clamped down on some of the backliners here, but at the end of the day, yeah, sure, it's a bit of a shutdown. It goes to Kai's, but that was going to be the main bullet anyways for Yangon. So TS don't mind this so much as we look at the items, right? It's a lightning truncheon in comparison to
Bác quý ra đồ phát rồi nó.
the item difference here allowing TS to actually be stronger in the majority of the scenarios. But not to mention, if we start running down towards everybody else and that lead coming from Zaur, that is ridiculous. He's going to get that BOD in no time.
Wow. He might be 5 levels ahead by the time he clears out his jungle. 9 minutes in, he might be able to get that record again.
Oh man, it's going to be the fastest level 15 we've seen in a while. And the Lord is up, but look at TS, they're not rushing it straight away. Denying, not only denying information,
15.
but they're setting up like a great net on the side lanes.
Ooh, Sunset instant flicker away from Blink.
Đồ ra flick up BB.
Savo up top as well. It's free. They can't react to it unless the golden hour gets placed down. But Zaur's able to get it, and now it's a deathless welcome. The big chop over it, straight to Zaur with a BOD.
The combo not exactly landing, but it's good enough. They zoned Yangon completely away from.
Sẽ gì fan bảo carry mấy bảo.
I want to see how much they can actually get off of it, because this is where it gets scary, right? As much as Zaur can dive underneath the turret, most of the time, if a composition like this wants to get an inhibitor against a full 5 on the opposite side, despite the 8.2k lead, it does come with its risks. A lot of it just comes down to juggling the aggro from the turret to make sure
Lười lao đâu nó của nó.
to absorb the damage
Cái ngoan ông lười lao đâu.
evenly rather than one person just taking it. But worse yet, it's about Kid Bomba landing the detonate as well to really set the tone.
Big chomp down again. Purify still available though. It's just
Ê,
mid-stage.
alo nhau gì không nhá nó ní lại biểu tụi về two fight này nè đi. Alo hi cố giật thua quay trở về.
Blink slow, Eco goes in, a flicker out from Blink. He's just trying to hold. Holy shield already depleted now as Zaur walks up to zone. Turret gonna go down, up top. Purify as well, baited out by Ying.
They're getting everything out of them. Unfortunately, every single time that Yin gets hit by the detonator's welcome, it almost trades all for all, and they don't mind this. It's actually good.
Con đi đấy. Tiêu là. Ôi break à mà biết nào bây nhau gì.
It's Savo now with the crash course and a shortcut in the mid lane. Savo taking low, flickers out of the way, but he goes.
Ôi, giờ gì? Con đi. Nào gọi để bên kia. 6 gặp thế. 6 hả hay. Nice. Cam back. Chà Higo ba chắc. Shut down gì mà.
Can't close the distance. He's forced to flicker back out in Zaur. Now there, he's waiting just in case they need a secondary disengage. Considering everything that has happened in this game, yes, it is a bit of a shutdown. Going over to the right targets, in this case Sanji, but the lead is already too wide. 8.9k, now turning into a 9k lead, 11 minutes into this game. This could be a make it or break it on Lord's side, and with 2 missing inhibitors on both side lanes, there's just no way, not even the spawning of the
Ôi Higo ba giá lên rồi đang quá mà.
to the favor of Yangon. It's going to be very difficult. We've seen so many forced mistakes here.
Sẽ bên kia mà la đâu hi.
Able to get
Sẽ bên muốn giúp cho tha luôn.
right. They got a kill. It's not enough. I agree. I mean, that's for sure a win for Team Spirit.
Fashion nó chui à.
Top lane and bottom lane base turret. They're gonna have far
Sẽ
lane
bên mà la luôn cho nó sẽ bên mà nhẹ thì luôn à một đầu sau nào đã.
with. It's a Sky Piercer stack as well for Han. So we have to take that into account right now.
It's one stack though. Unless we see
And he's
the next
3 levels down.
He is 3 levels down. Like we know for a fact that this Lord is pretty much impossible to take, so they have to play for the fight.
Con
And if
này,
they
con
are
này, con này,
right
come back,
now,
come back.
looking at
Đi, đi, đi.
Kai's here to make a combo play.
我骗唔見啊個，我唔騙。
Oh, they use the Mystic Gush.
拜拜拜拜拜拜拜拜拜拜。
Anybody. Kaise gets away from the missiles just in time as the bottom lane comes pushing in. Sanji sent down below to deal with it as the Lord spawns up in 7 seconds. It's gonna be Crash was
Yeah.
the Thunder's Wrath. Now it's putting in a back.
con này xấu TV.
Taken out of the fight.
Con này.
Picks up the second. Sky
Không
Pierce
vô
shot
one
the
trade.
game. Sanji with the jump. Oh, bursts into
哦，用聲音都掉啊咯。
Can't get any more than this, and they've already got the last Purify down as Blink is trying to actually disengage the rest of their composition. But Team Spirit played that well, and unfortunately for Ying, just a little too early on that Purify. If he held it just a little bit longer, he might have
Hey,
survived.
Sanji blew the
It's
wall,
a
oh.
difficult composition to deal with right now.
哪里地話話你諗緊咩呀？
Everybody's able to get their damage down. As soon as that Purify is timed out, that's when Sunset Lover is going to let that ball likely rip. The rest of the
哦，
composition
那我影片啊。
Sanji's re-engagement as
呀
well.
把住把住把住。
Yes, they've covered all their bases. They are playing very good game 1.
so clean. And YG, you can clearly see they're getting desperate. They're making these plays happen. They think they have their power spike, which is true. But the thing is, Team Spirit with the 10,000 gold lead, they kind of built
Really,
past
lorry
that
là cùng bi
power
ạ.
spike, the initial power spike.
Yeah, and the worst part about it is the frontliners have opted to go for the Chastised Pauldron to ensure that it's really, really difficult to actually chunk them out in key critical moments here. And now they've got that Lord pushing on that top side. They're synchronizing the waves as well. And they want to have the late wave
Pick
on
us,
bot side.
pick us,
TS
pick us,
now on
pick
the attack.
Into the mid lane they go. Sour knows there's no Purify on Ying. 8 seconds for it to come back as the Rose Gold is built up by Sour. The winner crown is ready. Hiko with jumping forward. Sanji doing some damage over on Hiko. Bob is still there.
得分冇，攞錢冇。
Sunset Lover just
有啲嗰樣，垃圾。
It's good, and they want to go for a little bit further. Hiko wants
有啲。
but they cleared the waves already. They need
講你
to
用
use
講你。
one more opportunity.
打俾講變啲。
Mystic projectile landed on Sunset and Bomba. But luckily for Spirit, Sanji did not have anything to capitalize on it. Team Spirit, though, again, classic Spirit, classic EECA, that discipline, playing around these structures, objectives, backing away straight up, and then slowing the game down again. They're never letting YG touch their comfortable tempo.
Yep, but they've also got one more opportunity with their 10k gold lead, right? By the time we see Yangon hit 42k, we're expecting both Han alongside with Sanji, arguably 3 to 4 items onto Kai's at this stage of the game to be complete. They really, really need these items. And Sanji finally gets the extra range with the Malefic gun. He needs that crown, unfortunately. There's many places where he actually gets really deep with the Blazing Duet onto multiple targets, but without that winner crown, he is going to trade himself off, which is not something Yangon can accept right now.
And a win the crown from Kaise as well there. Picked up for him. Radiant armor for Ying. So a little bit more defense, but you can clearly see that big diff in gold between the XP laners. Bomba is just a big chunky boy.
He's thick. He is thick, and he's also taking a winner crown as well, just in case a scenario like that happens again, right? They gotta be careful because at the end of the day, it's still going to be up to Kai's to land that Mystic Projectile. If it hits on multiple targets, that's great. But the setup really just comes down to Blink. Han, at this stage of the game, has to be the finisher, and Ying needs to start peeling. But we see every single time the sequence is the same. TS will start targeting first, get his ult, maybe if he doesn't have the Chastised Pauldron ready to go, even better. Then immediately start moving towards Kai's position. Disrupt the angle.
錯多白盾拿唔了呢，啊，演唱那邊。
From the bottom of the ocean, the whole ship is going to start going out of whack.
Still gonna be difficult though again for wait a second, Blink. No. There's a projectile thrown out as well. YG. They really gotta get control over this top side. TS have done such a good job at denying it away from them, and now it really just seems like Team Spirit.
啲攞呢個垃圾嚟唔啦？攞呢個垃圾嚟唔啦？
They're trying to punish this.
Uh-oh, Blink
得到咦？
is able to find
嗱咪做你哦，做咩 pan 下 B 嚟？數俾咩嚟？
backline is able to get Sour
一上咪又講你，講你，一講一，講一，講一，講一。
Given around as Sour is able to get the targetable 2 iframes as Hiko walks up again.
And now Ying trying to at least
誒
delay them.
講你，
Sanji is on
你向向邊你都未？
able to go down here is Zara and the 1v1
哦，嗰度偏，多邊嗱講喺邊度？
Get Sanji down. He walks
廿度位歐多邊
again, and Sanji's thrown away from the base. Team Spirit
啊！
secure game number 1.
咩？
clean, tactical, all beautiful plays coming out for the side of TS Gangwon. just play defensive against them. I don't know.
ရေရာငါလုံးမသားတယ်တွေ့မယ်
They have to.
It seems like the only way Yangon Galacticos can actually start to get the tempo and start falling into these positions because they are going to be playing for really difficult wombo combos and power spikes against a team like TS. And what we've been seeing so far, either you disrupt them on that red side, take it away from them, or you're going to have to keep it real simple.
And it's as LaFell said in the panel, right? He mentioned it already.
ဂိမ်းတူရဲ့ကြည့်ရတော့မှာပဲအာရမော့နေတာပါတဲ့ခွေးတော့မော့နေတာပါ
They need to be able to take some of these heroes away. I understand the Marcel's prio, but that's where you have to go back to the drafts again and the bans. YG, I think, put too much respect on Team Spirit's picks that beat Onyx. Valentina was banned out. The Atlas and even the Harley, they need to try to those picks are great, but I think there are picks to deal with it.
Absolutely. And let's also not forget that second half of the match. It's very telling for both of these teams what they are genuinely worried about. They are genuinely worried for the side of Team Spirit. Hey, we're getting rid of things like chill, things that force us to change our battle spells.
Game one ရှုံးသွားပြီ
Have flickers in our double fighter composition so that
အခုပြောသလိုပဲရင်ကအဲ့လို urine နဲ့ကြီးပေးမဲ့ကင်စင်ကိုတခြားကောင်တွေပေးကင်စင်
combos get dropped down. That shortcut really allowed them, giving them multiple access points into these.
အဲ့လို
We'll let our panel break it
ဟို
down.
ရင်ကdamage ဝင်ခိုင်းနေပဲပြီးသွားတာ urine နဲ့ကြီးอ่ะအောက်ပလီးပြမရဟိုကပြမရ
Mirko, that was a game that set the tone for what this best of 7 could look like, and not only did it showcase
ပြုံးတာတွေ့မယ်မင်းတို့ကောင်နေ
finals and seeing the way these teams came into it, Team Spirit with a 3-0, continuing now 4 games in a row that they have won. It also shows where maybe Yangon Galacticos' heads were, trying to over-predict, trying to see the things that worked or didn't work against Onyx and see if they could shut those down right away. But it ended up
အားလေးပြီးတော့ကျွန်တော်တို့
too early to EECA.
ဖက်ကြီးဖက်ခဏကူးကြပါမယ်
Now they are in the deficit, having to claw themselves back. Still plenty of time to do so. Rainday, Brigida, and LaFell to break this one down on the panel. Brig, what'd you see?
I still cannot get over the fact that we saw the Paquito Hirara and why are you copying me?
You always copy me. Why can't I copy you?
Okay, you can. The Hirara Paquito and everything else. Even the chip came in as a surprise.
Yeah, 1ရက်ချစ်ကနေစားကုန်ပြီရော 1ရက်အမတ်တော်ပြတ်သွားရောအော်မနေ့ဖြန်နားမှာနော်မနေ့ဖြန်တရက်နားဆိုတော့အမတ်တွေ share ဖြတ်ထားတာ
Bawaski. All right, thank you very much. It's nice that you understand Malay now. So we gotta look at the draft because there's a whole lot wrong here. And let me explain as well, first things first, what I mean by having bad relationships with each other. Because we're gonna start with one of the more important picks here, which is the Suyo. The Suyo being the jungler is definitely one of those picks where it's gonna move the map. It's gonna move the tempo, right? Now, one of the
Hey,
problems
Dobby, I'm
is
sorry.
Suyo has been adjusted before, where he had armor as well as magic resist.
I'm sorry.
He is in his immortal form, but they removed the magic resist. Now the problem is we got one of the best mage bursters here, which is the Eudora. It makes it so that if he goes in, he dies. That's why we don't see him really do much. And it's honestly the same with the Claude. The Claude goes up against the Eudora. Also, he goes in, gets stunned, and then the damage is just gonna be too much, and then he's gone. And that's not over yet. Marcel. The Marcel. Here's the thing. He gets stronger when the Thunder Belt stacks actually gets to stack up. But before that, he don't want to deal with burst. He don't want to deal with anyone that can stop him. Now let's look at how many people can do that. So Eudora could do that.
Probably just
Eno
one.
could do that. Barats
two.
could do that. So there's
Three.
3 members that can deal with Marcel. One of the reasons why they don't really mind letting the Marcel go. So right now, it does seem that Team Spirit, they just get all of the answers before some of the problems even existed, right? Because Suyo came out late, and then, well, the Marcel was first, but again, they were able to answer that. So let's see how it translates in game. And in this current meta, it's all about map pressure. Let's look at what happens when there's no map pressure here. We're going to be seeing, this is, by the way, look at this, it's 243 in the game. This is fairly early on. And we can see that the gold lane here, Pico is winning by a lot. And then we're going to go to the EXP lane, and look, 3 members of Team Spirit is already in the jungle, and it's already, like, look at this. This is the 2nd tier turret of Yangon, and they're able to go in. This is 2 minutes, right? This shows how much domination they got with the Barats as well as the Paquito, which, by the way, I feel like Barats is #1 EXP laner, and I would say Paquito is sharing that spot with Freya in terms of the best gold laner right now. And then we'll be looking at what one of the problem is here, where we see that Team Spirit, they overcommit, and yet there's not enough damage, there's not enough instant crowd control, and that's part of the problem that we have if we look at the draft here coming in from YG, where you can be in front line, that's great, but not immediately. He needs time to set it up. Kaize can kind of stun, but only if he hits his skill shot. And then Blink kind of stun, but here's the thing. In the golden hour, some abilities go through, some don't. And we're going to be looking at this clip here, how it has been stunned up, and then Hun tries to attack, but the guy's frozen, so no damage is going through. So this draft, honestly, doesn't really harmonize together all that well.
I guess the clip that I also...
Yeah, speaking of harmonizing.
We are trying to harmonize right now. I think the clips that I also picked up are just to further complement the idea that we're trying to put out about the bad relationship. I still don't completely understand the metaphor that he put out.
Yeah, me neither. I think it's deep in his pants.
Yeah, so, but I think this will really kind of establish how within the team and within the lineup, it hasn't been really that great, and at the same time, against the opponent, against this lineup, it hasn't been as great. So, where's the play button? Oh, there. Okay. So, I chose this clip in particular. Was it this one or this thing? I chose this clip in particular because I think it was just very brief. But this was a quick movement from when they actually went to steal away that purple buff and immediately transition to this turtle, which, by the way, Ying was just trying to hold by himself. So again, we mentioned he is expected to be the front. He's capable of being the front, but that's just pretty much it. He can kinda tank the damage as of this moment, because it's not like he was really able to scale up either, because again, both the sides were really matched really well. The guy beside me is doing a really well job as well, trying to mimic what I'm saying, but at the same time, what I'm trying to point out is you see how the combo of the burst is actually put into action here by Team Spirit. It was probably a bit of a worry for us that the Eudora had to deal with a Uranus, that the Eudora had to deal with a Marcel that could probably just be everywhere. Thank you for zooming it on my face so you don't get to see it anymore. But yeah, so at this point, I feel like this moment already meant so much to how Team Spirit have pretty much secured the game, because the moment that they were already able to deal with Ying and no other member from Yangon could actually provide help nor trade whenever Ying actually went down, I think that was pretty much it. It was one moment where they tried to trade. I feel like they kind of hit their power spikes, but I think it's a keyword. It's always kinda. It's never really enough for Yangon to actually go in for a fight against Team Spirit, and that was a one moment where you saw Blink or Sanji, as much as he already had items on a Claude, try to go in, but just look at what happened afterwards. You just kind of see how sad this engage looked like. There was a full stack Blazing Duet, but he just gets cancelled out by Hiko and Tsar Egoist. So there's not much you can do with this lineup. There's a clear lack of synergy from Yangon Galacticos.
Not to say that the draft was bad, it's just that in the team itself, the chemistry isn't there, and there's so many answers that unfortunately was able to be drafted by Team Spirit. So it's just a very big mismatch.
That was a great breakdown. I also, you know, when you look at something go wrong that way, but Team Spirit has a few moments, I think you see the quality of both of these teams shine a lot. And when you see the caliber that we're looking at, these teams deserve to be here. They've played and played again. They've been knocked out. They've won. They've had bounce back wins and victories. And I think you look at what is value, and there's maybe 4 picks that seem to be kind of driving a lot of this, and it is the Barats. It also is making sure the Atlas isn't available, so someone's using a ban on that half the time. So you don't want both. And then of course you're going into the Paquito, and that is becoming a bit of an issue. And the Harara, which is the priority jungler before you start getting weird. And I'm not saying it's too weird, but you know, you bring out the Suyos, the YSSs, the things that aren't. So my question is, do you leave more open, knowing that, hey, let's just hit each other with everything? Like, you're gonna get that, I'm gonna get this and this, because it felt like they lost that trade. If they're on the blue side, do they leave more open? Do they not ban the Valentina, or do they try to just focus the bans on the Roam and see how deep? I think they won that Roam battle. They can go as deep as possible.
Because I think even Yangon don't want to use the Valentina anymore. Like, based on their game yesterday, so they just probably took it out. Well, it does kind of tell you something about how they want to draft. But being in blue side and still not having a better draft is a really weird thing to look at. So I don't think there are a bunch of things that have to be dealt with if you look at Yangon.
Yeah, to answer Rain's question, I think yes, leave a lot of things open. The problem is, I feel like YG came in with that mentality where they tried to get all of things open, but the problem is, they let Team Spirit get all of them.
I actually agree with you. I think that's why we saw the Valentina. I think they actually left
Valentina, Harley, as well as Atlas.
I think they were trying to make sure they could get Atlas and Barats, or at least get something like that. But they just, I don't know, they relate to the game. Maybe they just need a crack at it.
Maybe don't first pick the Marcel.
Yeah.
I feel like Marcel is
probably what it is.
but not enough.
Yeah.
I feel like Barats or Paquito, both of these are probably like the highest prio now.
Or not in terms of the Yangon play style. Because I don't think Marcel will just really enable the kind of play style that they've been wanting to play based on the previous matches. Because I think even though in previous matches where they had much better drafts, or hero synergies to be exact, they've been doing things individually and they just layered together so well. But in this scenario, it just really requires you to follow a certain sequence, which I don't think they really would want to go for if they want to play fast, especially against like a team like Team Spirit.
Yeah. They need something for the early game. They need to keep tempo. Team Spirit have done something well, and they know exactly why it works. Can Yangon make an adjustment to tie us back up? So far in our sets, we have not seen many teams go 1-1. We've seen the 2-0 and then 2-2, which means we are in a heavy momentum swing for this meta. I think it also means that generally, LaFell, some team figures it out a little bit earlier, a little bit faster, and it takes a minute to figure out how to handle that.
I feel like game number one, it's explained how Yangon want to test the waters, right? Because we even heard in the interview with Eterna where their coach said that they're going to be aggressive, but that was the kind of draft that was not aggressive, right? So maybe they just want to test the water.
Drop it 东侧翘 Drop it 东侧翘在干嘛
And now Yangon, they just battle the Barats.
Yabby.
The Paquito, because I think even they agree with that. That's too much of a problem. Let's get rid of both of them.
The question was, do you away? And it's clear that YG said, we are going to take away the Paquito, we are going to take away the Atlas, we are going to take away the Barats, and now we're going to be on a more even playing field, because in this situation, we're getting one of the two that we think are the most valuable. But I like this too because we're just going deeper into those frontliners, those fighters, those roams. I think this works for YG. We've seen it work.
Yeah.
Eudora gets banned. I feel like Hirara should be the top prio here. Marcel can kind of work, I guess, but I don't know, man. Hirara's been like one of the bases of MSC.
I'm thinking between Hirara or Jusen for Yangon.
I think Hirara.
Yeah, same. If it's just about what really works, I just think if Yangon have been drafting according to comfort, then that could have been a consideration. But now that will remain open. Honestly, Spirit, I think there's even the Beller Paquito that are available.
Paquito's banned.
Never mind.
So yeah, I think like there's a chance that they could actually steal the Zushin away as well because again, Eudora has been banned out, so you need someone else to control during the fight. In terms of Belric, I think it is an okay pick for Sao, but Sao does show quite a lot of heroes so far in MNC, so that might also be something that they want to play around. And with the Paquito as well as the Barat's ban, I think Hiko is just going to get a marksman here. Like some kind of marksman, the Esmeralda gets picked up as well as the Belric. So now Team Spirit has already established they have a front line and they have a counter-engaged hero in the Belric.
I almost think we've seen Sora picked up, right? And he's done okay. I like that maybe going deeper into an EXP lane. Remember, Phobius was available last time. You had some interesting matchups. Lapu, you go Claude, Sanji's very comfortable there, and now Kaise can get his Zushin.
I think he really should get his Zushin, unless there's a prior roamer that, I don't know, I want to try. I don't know about that though. Because glue is counterable.
Yeah, glue.
Mids like the Vixanas, so it's a good hero, it's just counterable.
So Harley picked back up, and that's something they banned earlier on, Greg. But the second Tower has a chance to get it, brings it back. We'll see how impactful.
Hero 不 chịu là ngã lao động chịu.
I guess they've been eyeing the Harley, that's why they didn't really lock in their mid laner first, but at the same time, I feel like a Juicin was an okay pick into the
Hero
Harley.
不 ngã lao động chịu rồi này hả mày chị?
You had the Crimson Beacon, you had like escape tools to just really keep yourself safe, and that goes the same if you want to get out of dangerous situations, since Spirit are looking to draft a really good comp against Dive.
So at this point, just ban out a lot of mids, and I think you're pretty golden because at this point, I really feel like banning out EXPs isn't really all that great, but they respect a possible die-off, which hasn't worked too well, but again, on paper, it's one of the only picks that can deal with the Esmeralda.
You know, I will say this, I feel like Carrara survived a lot of Gord ults because of those iframes.
Minions! What was that? Kevin?
I thought it was glue, not Gru. Fun in here. It is a lively building. But do you think that maybe it's going back to the tried and true? I think maybe they like the Gord. There was a good source of damage. There was just a lot of heroes that could get away from him.
I feel like Gord is good against the Esme and the Belric, but that Harley is going to cause so much problems. Like, this Harley makes it so that you always second guess what mid laner you want to use and what marksman you're going to use, because both of these roles can get one-shotted by the Harley. Some heroes can outplay it, but not all. And Gord having no dashes is one of the more dangerous picks against the Harley.
Yeah, if it's stashes that we're talking about, since the Juicin is already pretty much out, the Valentina is still there as a mid option for Yangon, since they can also pretty much take away the Wrath of Riot for themselves. But the thing is, it hasn't really worked out for Kaise. That is one thing we got to observe for them recently, especially as they're forced to play a much slower game. And you don't really know what the matchup is going to look like. If Spirit get more and more range, especially in the mid, that might be tough to deal with, because you really want to complement the glue.
Well, we've got our bans here. Zushin finally banned. So it does seem like they're going back into the pool. There's been a resistance for Kaise to go off of the 4 chant heroes that he's used. There was a one-time Valentina, but otherwise, we've seen that Zushin, we've seen that Eudora, we've seen...
Họ đi cái game này rồi
we see something different here.
Yeah, because for Spirit, they can take the Valentina just to take away from the is that there's no really good ults for you to really steal. But sometimes as a Valentina, it's not that big of a deal. You just want to be able to put pressure in the early game and then...
Hello. Chala.
Because then there's no more dashing heroes. Kinda Lilia, but I think Lilia is because her HP is so small.
Wow.
She will die anyways to the magic.
And I like how they're not
Valentina
necessarily
kaya
acting
phải
to
bé
the
khủng
like this could have been a
Kalau.
Vixana anyway, but just so they could be faster
Steal
enough
away that
steal
Valentina.
it away, they just lock it in instead of YG getting their hands on it. So that poses a question to YG instead. How do they match this, knowing that it's going to be a Beleric Valentina in mid? You have a glue. A Lilia could have been an option, but I feel like it could just burst it really fast.
Like, it's gonna be good for a while until Harley gets like a genius one, and now Harley gets picked up, as well as the Selena here. I'm liking the adjustment that YG is picking up, but now a Clint. A good matchup in the gold.
Yangon, let's go.
Burst down multiple members of YG as long as Team Spirit gives in a good early game.
What do you guys feel about these drafts?
Thì quay quanh gì bất đại chạy được vậy?
Yeah, I'm liking how proactive Yangon are this time. They have a lot of setups. It's not like they're gonna wait for Spirit to start.
Perfect
every
ကတော့
single
ကြိတ်နေ
time.
ပြီဗျ
Claude back in the marksman position for Sanji against now a Clint, and it's going to be Ying on that R-lock, which we saw so effective in the Selena. Finally let through, and there's my daughter, Aria.
မပြီးမဖြစ်နေဟဲ့ပြုံးမယ်အင်းလန်နဲ့ချောင်းယူ
All right, having a lot of fun. Let's hit it over game 2 and get us started here in our grand finals.
So sorry, Rain Day. I don't know if your daughter needs to watch this next game here because it's going to be an absolute bloodbath. It might be above the age limit for this one because we are expecting an absolute brawl. Huge contestant for both roaming supports here. Blue is an amazing pick into this lineup, but the big issue is, are you going to be able to build the right items at the right time? There's a lot of magic damage on the side of TS for this early game, and eventually that Clint is going to be a bigger problem.
Absolutely. It's also about how do you cut through, right? Against this composition, you need to win in the early game, and that's why the Selena pick is going to end up being massive if utilized properly. Can they utilize it, though? That's the question. The Esmeralda almost holds a complete monopoly up top when it comes to tempo.
It is. That's the thing, right? And we're going to see how this game has to progress because there's also counterplay to a lot of the different problems that we're going to experience. If you look at the emblems, at least, it looks pretty standard all the way through season.
အော်ပြက်တယ်ဖြက်အေးဒါပဲဆောင်းတန်တယ်လား
And now, with this lead, this is what we're expecting, right? This is why I was talking about the support so often.
ဗျာ intro လာသွားပြီ intro ဖွင့်လာသွားပြီ
Do what they can do, but Blink is a lot more expendable in comparison to Sawa because they need that Wrath of the Dryad.
That's the tempo we were talking about, though, yeah. For Team Spirit, they're going to have to wait a lot. I think compared to game number 1 especially, you're going to really have to wait for that rapid drive, like you mentioned, Gideon. And for YG, it's all about hiding level 1 to 3, finding those slam passes. And with the Hirara, the glue, and even the Arlet here, you're going to have so many resets.
ဟိုကောင်နဲ့ဖြတ်လိုက်တာဟိုကောင်နဲ့ရင်ဝိုင်းဖြတ်လိုက်
Out of the equation.
တော့ဖြစ်နေလား
Get back into that turtle fight after Sawo got picked off.
Yep, it looks like they're not going to be able to contest the very first turtle here. It's going to be level 3 to level, well, actually, pretty close to 4 for Kid Bomba. He should be able to hit it first no matter what. They're going to use that pressure.
အဲ့မှာဟိုကောင်နေရက်ကွက်လက်ကြီးအုပ်စုလိုက်သွားနေကြ
Allow TS to hit 4 on time. However, Sunset Lover, not there yet. Do they need to walk up to get the EXP? No, they're going to rush this.
It's such a good decision for them. Now, retreat battle is still
ဒါ
gonna
တေ
be
တော့ပြေးလိုက်ပါတော့မမီတော့ပါ
close to it. But it's such a good decision at the end of the day right now because they know there's no big ultimates to take anyway. So why do we need Sunset Lover on 4? We're just going to get tempo in mid, take that main win condition away from YG, and get that turtle.
It's abusing the timers. Ying was not level 4 at the right time. Han wants the contest, but unfortunately, even Kai's hitting level 4 doesn't make the difference in these moments. They need Blink to be level 4. They also need to make sure that everybody is ready to fight at the right time. So, now with the off-tempo play, they steal it away. Great decision coming in from TS, but where is the rest of the conversion, right? As we go back to the neutral states, you can see that even Kid Bomba is still making Ying's life very difficult, despite Han purposefully showing himself.
He's dominating the lane right now, dude. And they're able to keep... Whoa, that's so wild. There are no other ults to take. To be fair, it's either that or the final slash, right? You're not going to take the blades into it.
Well, honestly, we don't know. Yeah, maybe later in the game when you're desperate and you need to be able to kind of peel away from Sanji already on top of you, then maybe. But even so, at least with the battle spell, Sanji understands that he's got the Purify to work with. I just don't know how this lane is going to go for him. He's playing the lane well, right? But Hiko's got this freeze on him for this point, at this point of time. And until Hiko gets his first item, that's when he really starts to dominate the matchup.
Now, one thing I will say about Team Spirit and how they're able to actually just gain control of the map when nothing is happening is I think they're the best team at playing the neutral game. When there's nothing happening on the map, they are so good at maximizing all these small little trades on the map. Like even here, Bomba is getting a trade over on Kaize, giving Sunset Lover more pressure in the lane and stopping Kaize from putting those trap downs. You know, it's just such a small win, but it builds up, and that's why Team Spirit now, even though they're down a kill, are the ones up in tempo, in map pressure, and everything.
Exactly. Because by the time the turtle actually spawns, Kid Bomba in about roughly 6 or so seconds after the spawn, he's gonna get us all back. So they understand how these timers work. And you can see that Ying, as soon as Bomba shows up, he's like, oh man, I gotta try and forcefully clear this wave. We trade ults again. We're gonna come back down to the turtle, and I think it's gonna be that constant dance. I want to see what TS's decision is here, because now they can't sneak away this neutral objective. I think they want to extend their lead. Oh, Bomba, he's got the proxy.
And Sunset, that's the reason he stole the Abyss form.
နားလိုက်လားငါတို့ကလင်းရနားလိုက်လား
As well. It's a proxy up top now. Did they go for the retreat?
သာဘူးအော်ကောင်းတယ် ဖြတ်အကုန်ဖြတ်အော်အားလုံးကောင်းနေတယ်စာဝူဖြတ်တယ်စာဝူပြတ်တယ်တစ်ချက်ဒါပဲကစ်ပုံပါဆလင်အော်ကောင်းတယ်ကောင်းလိုက်တာရောက်မြေကောင်းလိုက်တာဒါပဲကောင်းတာကွာရေး
Sanji clearly doesn't have the items, but as soon as the Purify is out and Kai's is able to find an off angle on any of the priority targets.
ကောင်းတာကွာရေး
Zara almost getting a sneaky little assassination there, but on with the iframes.
See. လာကြီး intro ဆောင်လာတော့ပြီအော်ကောင်းတယ်အော်ဆလီနာအော်ဖြတ်ဝင်လာတော့ကောင်းဖြတ်အာယာတော်ပြီစိုက်ကိုရှော့အရှိထား
That's got to be frustrating.
ဒါပဲ3 easy ကြတာကိစ္စမရှိဘူး easy
He was thinking about jumping this, and Han was like, "No, give me the kill, sir. Please, I need this right now. You're already 2-0. I'm 0-2. Just give me a little bit of gold, and it could make the difference here." And that might have just costed them a lot more than they would have imagined here. But you're absolutely right.
You have to go back to before the fight. Bomba didn't go for the rotation straight up, even though he had a tempo advantage over Ying. He stayed and he cut. He proxied deeper. So it was almost as if Team Spirit knew they weren't going to take that fight. They were just trying to prolong it so that YG can't get their early snowball in time.
I mean, not to mention that they're
ဘောကောင်းနေဘာလို့နော်အားနေရက်ကွက်လက်ကြီးပဲပြီးတော့
and faking the movements, trying to throw as many feints just to get YG to react.
ရတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့ရသလောက်ပဲပြီးဘာလုပ်ကြမလို့
And he's able to get a little bit of his health back. This is why Beleric is just so annoying to deal with. Very similar to Glue in a lot of senses, but just can't fight.
ငါတို့မကလင်းရနာပြေးနေမယ်နော်
Bomba opening up again this time around. It's going to be Team Spirit with a man advantage. Grouping up, but they have to split up. Remember, Blink can find an AOE. Now Blink with a meltdown.
ခွာလာတယ်စာဝူဒီဘောပြန်ခေါ်အိုးကောင်းတယ်တူးမယ်ပြစ်ခွဲတန်ကြီးပြစ်ခွဲမလားပြစ်ခွဲလိုက်မလား
Even walk up to auto anybody else. I am your bullet sponge. Don't look at anywhere else, please.
1 straight အော်ရောက်ကောင်းတာရောက်ရေကလော့ကောင်းတာဘက်ကက်ဒီကောင်းတယ်လင်ကတော့ပြန်ပြီးလိုက်ရမှာပဲဒါပေမဲ့တာတေးရမှာစောင်းတန်သွားပြီ
This is a tough
လင်ရမပါတော့
wondering whether Hiko on this clip was a good option. They wanted to win the lane, which technically they sort of got, but they still can't deal with Blink. If Blink gets on top of Hiko, it's kind of over for his life. Even if he does actually have the flicker, he's got to time it perfectly. But the rest of the team, at least for TS, it's about healing. And even so, they don't have the correct answers, right? I don't think Kid Bomba or Zara Egoist or Sunset Lover wants to be the one getting pulled away, but that's the thing, right? Yangon, they're trying to keep it tricky.
တန်ကြီးရတဲ့အစီအပြေတယ်ဗျာ
Sawo initially, pretty good idea, but unfortunately, where do you pull him to?
1အော်အဲ့ဒါမီးရကောင်းတယ်ပြန်ခေါ်ဒီဘက်ဖြတ်အေးကောင်းတယ်
Better target priority. That's exactly what we want to see from the Young Galacticos here. You don't want to pull Sawo into your team, but Kid Bomba, you know what? Without purifying
ကစ်ပုံပါ
How the heck is the lead so little? 1,000 at this point, right? We'll expect at least 1,000. Another arrow in mid. Kaiser with the
ရောင်ရေဆလီနာရဲ့ arrow ကလည်းမှန်တယ်ဗျ
finds it on
အော်
Get chained together with the abyssal arrow. Sawo has
ဖြတ်ပါလား
5 seconds.
the living war, the living sentinel, the living tree is still
စံကြီးပတ်မယ်စံကြီးအေးကောင်း
realizing he
Oh my
can't
God.
waste any more time. As much as we've commended TS for
easy ဘာမလို့
games, but they are so good at being efficient with their time. Yangon are starting to pick up steam at this stage of
ချိန်တိုင်းနိုင်တော့ AC တွေပဲစေးစော်ရုံပဲ
from Glue. Berserker's Fury finally on top of the endless battle. I'm not sure if the rapid boost is going to keep people alive, but
အေးလို့
this mid-tier 1, you can see that both sides, they really want to crack it open.
ကလင်းကပုတ်နေပြီ
On the other side of the map, every time reacting to YG really well. Sanji
ရစံကြီးစွတ်ပြီအော်ကောင်းလားရောင်ရေရှောင်ပြသွားတာ
from the rest of the team. Sawo able to get the taunt down on Blink as Bomba goes in, but it's going to be the running out Sunset.
ကောင်းနေ
Taken out by Han. The abyssal arrow goes right as Han
တေးလားအကောင့်တွေမှာတေးလား
is able to escape, and
fighter မြိုင်ဘာမှမဟုတ်တဲ့ကောင်နေ
When that final slash to Kid Bomba as if, yeah, I'm looking for you. No, I'm gonna go for somebody else. And they've got 10 seconds worth of tempo here. Sawo, he can try and delay with the Wrath of the Dryads, but this is first lord. This is really important for either side.
Sawa has a position, goes in with the poker trick onto Blink.
အကေဘောဝတ်တဲ့အကောင်ဖြတ်အော်အကောင်ဟိုက3ဝါလုံးမြင်သွားတာ
Gets the pass. Now, that's a Swift Trinity completed by Sanji. Very quick at 10 minutes.
Honestly, not a bad idea for Bomba to actually absorb the arrow early on, predestined to fight, knowing that Sunset Lover is coming back up and he has that Purify, because you can see that Yangon, they want to react to this.
ရောဘာဖြစ်နော်အေးဟာလီက
Magic from Zawa, man. He's using it more as a play tool than to finish people off, right? He's just coming in, space escape into a deadly magic. Doesn't even matter if he lands the poker trick on that.
Yeah, no, it's so true, because again, they don't have...
စင်ကြီးတော်တော်နားနေပြီစင်ကြီးတမ်းမြန်အော်နာပြေးနေအော်နာတာ
Crazy Lord Dance Blink. Overjump on Sawa. He's able to stay back up. Mamba no purify for another 48 seconds.
Press a
to
break.
on this position.
ဟဲ့ဒါပဲကောင်းပါကောင်းဘက်ပြန်ဘက်လုံးနဲ့ပြန်တဲ့တော့ချပြီလားအော်ဆွဲကွာချိုင်နေဆွဲစာဝူပြက်တယ်စာဝူပြက်တယ်ဆက်လာပါဆွဲအကုန်ရဲ့အော်ကောင်းတာအားလို့ what the fuck
Oh my goodness, this is not going well for Team Spirit.
ဒါပဲပြီး
Revenge after game
မေဂါရှိယူ
we know how to fight, and they are fighting hell
မေဂါရှိဟဲ့မဲအော်ကောအိုးဘာလို့ဟျောင်းကြီး
double holy shit. Damn, what a statement here from Yangon that
โอ้
they are
what the fuck ရောင်ကြီးကောင်းနိုင်မျက်တောင်တို့တွေပဲကြွကြတယ်
weren't able to fight. Now, because denied of that fight, they're getting extra messy. They're going to reach further than what TS expected.
Oh.
Actually, no, they don't have minions.
တော်သွေးစိုးနေ
Out just in time by Team Spirit. But remember, that siege was YG without the Lord. They got the Lord, but they chose to just push it forward.
Oh, it's a pretty big attempt here. If they can get an inhibitor, that would be great. At the same time, see that TS, as much as they want to engage, they kind of need their flickers, and they know that Sao's flickers come
ဝိုင်းကြီးကတော့ဝိုင်းကြီးပါပဲလို့
How else can they look to delay this? They might have to sacrifice
ဘောလဲမေဂါရပြီ
one of these inhibs.
Yeah, it seems like they're gonna have to sacrifice the top side, man. You're not even
အန်လိုရမအန်စိတ်ကိုရှေးထား
at the bottom lane. I think it's a wise decision. But still for YG, they'll take what they can get. That's a Melfic gun now for Sanji. 12 minutes.
He's strong, but the big game changer here really has been Kaizen as well as Ying. Those arrows have been perfect.
Almost immobilization. Sanji with a Melfic gun, abusing it and able to find a
ရပြီမေဂါနဲ့လမ်းရပြီ easy နောက်လုံးနဲ့မှအန်
So Sunset Lover has been stealing away the ult coming in from Kai's just because it technically works.
နောက်လုံးနဲ့မှအန်
We actually get access to the rest of the abilities, like the arrow, like the trap, so they've been trading back and forth here. But I think the big issue is the fact that Yangon has set the minefield every single time. In the previous Lord take, Zara couldn't even get in on the typical angles or off angles onto the Lord pit because of how many abyssal traps reveal this position. Looking at the items, Chastised Fulgent finally done. Done here is the first item coming in from Sawa on top of the
Sanji
map.
Ali
The
Kwa.
Radiant armor. Now it looks like he's building up to
ကျွန်ကလစ်ကအေဂျင့်3ခွက်ဘာလုံးမှာလဲ
magic damage. They've got the burst. However, down the bottom side, they look to keep going. He's got 3 items too. But those positions are really difficult. Especially when Lee has flicker. He's just got reactive.
no chance. It's gonna be very tough. And now it gets even worse for Spirit because how are they gonna catch Sanji? He has a winner crown very soon. Already have that Melfic gun. Is scaled past, I think, a lot of Team Spirit's own win con. So
အေးအဲ့မငါလည်းပြောနေတာလေဘာခိုးရရှိလို့တော့ဘာမှမခိုးဘာမှလည်းမရှိဘဲနဲ့ဘာလို့အေး Valentine ပက်သွားတယ်
able to actually look for an angle to come back here.
I think the worst possible scenario is if they can chain see
မပေး
something
မပေးခြင်းလို့ပဲမပေးခြင်းလို့ဖင်းတာကြတော့ဖင်းတက်ရတာဖြစ်သွား
one is getting hit by 2 shadow strikes from Sunset Lover and getting terrified. I think that's also probably the worst case scenario.
Arrow lands on Sawo. They're doing a good job.
ငါ
zoning
ထွက်တရလဲ
Sawo.
မှန်နေပြ
From the slower, 15,000 HP on it.
အေးတော့ရ3ပုံနဲ့မထားခင်နဲ့ထဲပြန်သွင်းလဲသွင်းခင်းလိုက်တော့
Testing angles from both sides.
စောက်ကွက်ရဝင်လာရင်စောက်ကွက်ကိုရိုက်
Sunset Lover in the mid lane as well. That bottom lane is looking juicy for YG. Vacation is good.
They can't correct this in time. I don't think they can, and I think YG should start actually taking the space, but Sanji just used his BMI. They might wait for it a little bit longer.
He was going to be sent up top, I believe, to deal with that wave. Yes, as YG control this Lord again. Sunset Lover is busy in the mid lane, handling those big minions.
Now they just have to sit. Oh, that's for
ဂလူကဘာဘလုံးမှအရားတော့မပြေဘူး
dangerous 50-50 to be had, right? Level 15 to level 15. As much as they have iframes, Zara's retribution, if well timed, could steal this and drag this game out longer than it should be.
That wave in bot wasn't pushed properly by YG.
有要 flick 緊你撚嘢啦
To that flicker, the final slash, Hiko. That second skill, that catch could have just possibly won them a lord. Because look at the bottom lane. That was so unlucky for YG. They didn't build it in time, and now it's building back for Team Spirit. Slow push, and Han cannot go down.
It turned from an offensive assault to now a defensive assault. And TS
一
now
ပြစ်လိုက်တာ
here.
一ပြစ်ခွဲနေပြီ
7K lead, and yet they still can't get close to this lord, not without having to worry about a bot tier 2 being traded out. And TS, they're so happy about this. They're
ချရင်လည်းချလိန်စီးနေပြီဟုတ်တယ်အောက်မှာလိန်တိုင်းစီးနေပြီနော်
He knows it's a tendency of Blink. He studied Blink's gameplay.
Something.
He always looks for these plays, and that's the
အောက်လည်းတိုင်းစီးနေပြီ
Team Spirit with a macro masterclass.
Oh, and now the Guardian help is done, so Sawa can walk off, take some damage, walk
Hey,
away.
look.
Han's bot. Abyssal arrow doesn't land. Han's still in the bottom lane. They're gonna go for the first right now. Blink goes over the stop.
ကောင်းတယ်ဂလူ
It's a final slash. He's away. He's able to get away with his basic escape.
ဟာရတယ်ကိစ္စဟီရိုကေပြန်ယူ
The flicker around and Han.
ပြစ် AK ပုံမှာစောက်ဖောက်ကိုပြစ်အလုံးမဝက်ပေါ်
Killing spree for Kaize.
တက်ရောက်အိစဖြတ်အပေါ်ကောင်းတယ်တန်းမင်းကနေအဲ့လုံးရပြီဟုတ်မင်းကနေအဲ့လုံးရပြီကာရစီကြီးတယ်ဒါပဲဟာလုံးမသားတွေဒီပဲရမယ်
Oh my goodness, this is what we were looking for. 16
အေးလို့
for the Young God Galacticos. State
ငိုဟိုမှာငို
what the world thinks of us. We fell to 1-1. No confidence lost.
And what a way to start. Possibly
ကောင်းတာကွမ်
I mean, when it comes to results, nobody predicted these two
ဖိုင်
teams.
တာလာမရဘာမှမဟုတ်
And to see it at 1-1, to see it this close, to see the dynamic between the teams.
One.
Playing slow for objectives through macro. The other one saying no, we brawl.
And now we have to talk about the out-of-game aspect. For Team Spirit, they've been more consistent throughout all of their games. But there's one thing that Yangon Galacticos got going for them, and that's momentum. If they can build this up with one extra game, the odds of Team Spirit are starting to look a little shaky unless they start correcting this draft. I know that he didn't want to give the Wrath of the Dryads over to Yangon Galacticos.
အေးလို့ရန်ဘလူးရဖိုးတာ
Because they got the results, and Ying was just playing out of his mind.
You gotta give props to Blink as well, though. What a fantastic performance on this crew. Even in that last skirmish, he was the one who jumped on Zauer. Then we saw the final slash. It almost looked. This was it. Blink with the jump. Zauer get chain CC zoned away. In the end, he still got it, but he had to sweat. He had to move. He had to use all of his resources just to get that lord.
Oh man, we are running out of resources here at the desk. We're gonna be throwing it back to the panel to break this down.
ဟုတ်တယ်
Thank you so much. We said these teams were tested with adaptation to get here, but it is now the requirement to stay here. One heavy punch, and the response with the uppercut
ကောင်းတာအင်းကောင်းတာ
of Team Spirit. Yangon Galacticos even things up in the 1-1 as our best of 7 turns into a best of 5. Rain Day, Brig LaFell to break the action down. That Arlet from Ying, they change the strategy, they take away the Paquito, they take away all of the options that we've seen be so successful, the Barats for Kid Bumba, and then they have that answer.
Yeah, and I still can't believe Han was just last seen in the bottom lane a couple seconds ago. That's why Spirit were just going for the Lord, but then you suddenly see him also being part of that fight, which really mattered to them, and it's so surprising to see Yangon bouncing back like that, because that game 1 loss felt like it wasn't a loss you could just easily recover from.
I mean, that's one of the strengths of Herrera. Once she gets about 2 or 3 items, she's almost max CDR, and that makes it so that her skill cooldown is incredibly short. The fact that she doesn't have any mana makes it so that she can just spam all of the dashes, making it so that even though she is taking care of her long lane,
Yeah.
she can still participate in the upcoming fight. And again, this is what we wanted from Yangon when they said they're going to be aggressive. This is the aggression that we want to see.
It started out with Herrera as the conversation against Ling. Ling is dropped down for Herrera. I mentioned
Kali ngapa kuan.
that Gordon, when you look at Kaise, could have gotten several kills, wasn't able to do it, but that might have just been the hero. And taking this hero now into the hands of Han, what can Zhao Eagles do? We talk about the implications of damage from Harlem, but you still now have Kaise back on the Selena feeling comfortable. The Ying can make plays. The Esmeralda's good in lane. Kimbamba likes to get aggressive. But guys, when you look at these stats, what went so right?
Honestly, when we're looking at these stats, the one that you have to look at is actually Kaise. The damage dealt is 51,000. I think a lot of it, hey minions! I think a lot of it is coming in from the traps, but the important thing is that aggression starts with a lot of damage, and that happened when they do have the Selena. The Selena, I would say even level 1 already deals quite a lot.
Yeah, I was honestly considering it even as one of the potential pickups for Spirit earlier when they were just left for second phase mid lane options, but they still went for the Valentina. I think in a way gave them some of the playmaking capabilities, but I don't think they were really able to put it into use. Like we saw how Sunset Lover occasionally got to steal away the final slash and such, but it was always just them using it when they were already forced to use it, more defensively or during a messy team fight, because Yaon were very efficient in just already isolating who they want to go for first and allocating who needs to go in first. It can be Ying, it can be Blink, and Blink too. On this glue.
You were questioning the glue. We thought, like, is this enough? But
I mean, like, we questioned it because he could get countered, but he didn't, right? No bad heroes for glue was picked up, and Blink, man, like, that guy is amazing.
yeah, he's playing great. Rafael, you got another telestrator for us? Let's check out what you have to say.
So I'm gonna be pretty quick for this one, but I feel like most of the MLBB community will agree with me on this one, where a lot of attention is in the jungle, being like the primary mover of the map, main damage dealer and everything, but throughout this MSC Rain Day, I personally feel like the biggest conversation is the front line, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And even in American football, the line has to be strong enough to either protect the pocket or create space for a good running play. And that's what we see here in MLBB, where in game number 1, we saw both Kid Bomba as well as Hiko really helping out whenever they do get these two heroes, right? The Paquito as well as the Baras. They're amazing playmakers, space creators as well. And with both of them out, it makes the game fair. And I think this is the first good step that Yangon really took. But then we saw Ying on this Arlet as well as Blink on this Glue. I really feel like for all of the games in this best of 7, who has the better playmaking frontliner, the potential of winning is much higher. So we're going to be looking at in the draft later on. And in terms of the clips here, I would say this just shows when you have a very strong frontliner, you're able to actually space everyone out for the opponents, making it so that it's easier for us to
lúc Phala nó long tay tiền lại à, lúc phép gì?
What we're going to be seeing is really just the positions of all the members of Team Spirit. They're spread out. They want to make sure that they don't get caught, especially by Ying using the Arlet here. But in terms of that, you can see that what Team Spirit thought was going to happen was they're going to delay the Lord because they're trying to pick a fight, but that's not what happened. The moment they know that the Harley is nowhere close, they just contested for the Lord, burst it down, and they're able to do that. And then afterwards, you start seeing whenever the team fight starts happening, a lot happen coming in from Ying as well as the Blue. Because look at this. Ying able to jump in, using the minions to dash with the Vengeance and then catching Sunset Lover. We even see the mark is there so that Ying has another Vengeance going in. And this is why in the draft now, who's the EXP? Who's the rogue? Is it a fighter golden? If it is, what is going to be that fighter golden? Because who can create the opportunities will win the game.
I think that's what it's been about, right, Brig? I mean, who can create more opportunities? This game, it was more on Ying than it was Kid Bomba.
Yeah, he had to live up to the undying name. What? Why? We thought it was good.
No, it's bad and good at the same time. I love it.
I think it's good. I just I hear you say it too.
Yeah, because at this point, or at least in this game, yes, he did get taken down, but it's not like that's what really mattered. It's his presence who feels like he's someone you just could not consider for pickoffs at all, because he had a very high mobility hero. Again, it was the Arlot with a Vengeance, and he was the guy that they really had to be wary of whenever they sensed that a team fight was actually gonna break out. Because you could maybe look at Blink, but he's more there to just mess things up. He already presents himself there once the team fight has broken out. But Ying has been the pace dictator at least for this game.
And I just like the draft in general. I think the response was to deal with the problems, and obviously Paquito early, but when you don't have the Paquito, you allow Sanji to be that much more effective and comfortable on the clock that he wants to actually play. Guys, there's a lot that's occurred here. We're going to take a quick one, and in the meantime, check out Mobile Legends Adventure. On the flip side, we'll have Game 3.
view ညရင်အဲ့လို over အဲ့လိုထည့်သွားတတ်တယ်လားငါ stream နဲ့သွားကြည့်ဦးမရ
My friends, we're all
အဲ့ stream အဲ့ stream နဲ့ overview တွေဖြစ်ပြီး
match we're seeing so far.
အေး overload တွေဖြစ်ပြီးထည့်နေတာမသိ
With another incredible person. Mom Bomba is joining us here, the mother of the wonderful Kid Bomba, as you're seeing. And I wanted to ask you a couple questions here, of course, auf Deutsch, in German, when it's possible. First of all, how is Bomba as a person? Is he always so, I guess, he has that personality also in real life? Wie ist Bomba als Kind? Ist er immer so selbstbewusst als hier in MSC?
Ja, er war selbstbewusst und ein fröhlicher Junge.
Yeah, this is how he is. He is very confident and he's a very happy young man. And that's exactly what we're seeing here out of him on the screen as well. Our second question, the entire community so far has been reacting so positively, which is wonderful to see, especially given your support for Bomba as his mother. Do you have anything for kind of words of comfort for maybe parents out there that want to help their sons, their kids that want to become professional players? Die ganze Community reagiert so positiv auf deine Unterstützung für Kid Bomba als seine Mutter. Haben Sie eine Botschaft für andere Eltern, dass sie auch deren Kinder in E-Sports antreten wollen?
Ja, natürlich. Die sollen ihre Kinder einfach ihre Träume ermöglichen, freilassen.
Of course, it's very simple, really. Let your kids really play out their dreams and help them, support them to actually make that happen. Mama Bomba, danke schön, danke auch. Thank you very much. Let's check in what's happening with our next game.
Well, Mambamba, I love the way that flows. Mambamba. Feels like we're speaking another language. Milos on his seventh language or something at this point. I don't know. The man speaks Arabic, French, English, German. What can't he do? Speak Lafel. Speak Lafelian. Minion language.
That's what I said, Minionese.
Yeah, Minionese.
Wait, what?
Few people
How does that sound?
I promise
duck?
by the next tournament I'll figure out the language.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I'll hold you to it.
Yes.
What did you want to say?
No, I was just so happy to see that.
I mean, like, where else can we go with this conversation?
Probably nowhere. I'm hoping you guys
The only thing I could think of was probably Mom Bomba already has a fans club by now too.
You know,
Yeah, probably.
Because I also
think
saw
so.
signage already.
I think so, and you've seen the team spirit gather around the heart and soul of it. You might have seen maybe the analysis, the technical part with the team, but when it comes to the heart, it certainly feels like it is Mom Bumba in the stands and everyone who is around her. talking to her, rooting her on, supporting her through. You should have seen the emotion versus Onyx yesterday. That was powerful. And part of the reason is that there's $1 million on the line. The winner of this, she could see her son suddenly enter the Millionaires Club, which is a beautiful thing.
At about what, 21 years old?
Amazing.
Support your child and your, their dreams. That's what she said, right?
I'm trying to hear back what you say. Yeah, I think you were correct.
Yeah, it's
Support your child live out their dreams.
Yes.
yes.
There you go.
Right,
There you go.
right, Rain Day?
Yeah, and you get to see, it's a special thing. You get to see family being next to you when you're doing something important. I think that's just such a beautiful thing to see and witness. And obviously, Team Spirit, they go back to the drawing board. They have the emotions, they have the ups, they have the downs of Game 2. Now it's Game 3, guys. They're bouncing back.
Speaking of, I think the support of, doesn't matter, families, friends, or whatever, in terms of going for your dream is very important, because here's the thing. I think there's no dream in the world that doesn't require some kind of sacrifice that will make you really scared about moving forward. Doesn't matter if the dream sounds like
ပကွီ
something
တို့ဘန်ထားတယ်ကောင်းတယ်ဒါပဲပကွီတို့ဘရက်
feel like it all
Yeah, right.
everyone that tells me
ဘန်
that
ဘန်ဘာအကြောင်းနဲ့မှဆက်ဆက်ဆောက်ကြောင်းကြမ်းမှမဖြစ်ဘူးဘန်
without sacrificing something
ငါကောင်းနေအဲ့ဒါမှမြိုင်ဘာမှလည်းအခုဘာမှမလုပ်တတ်ဘူး
It's even
Maybe.
more, and I mean, Greg, I think you agree. It's even more important to know that nowadays most of that sacrifice is not in front of us, guys. We see the results. We don't see what goes into it. And you know as much as any of these players how much time and effort goes into just being a part of this moment. And then there's still the job's not done. That is in the back of their mind. We still have to win. It is a best of 5 now, 1-1. As our draft continues, and Zushin, Atlas, Fanny Band this time around for Team Spirit. It's Paquito, Barats again, and Freya for Yangon Galacticos, who are on red side and respond with the Ying and the Eudora. First pick, Harara, stolen away, and is going to go back in the hands of Zaur Egoist.
Yeah, but I think Gavin are still very happy with this, considering that they've stuck with the pattern of taking out the Paquito and securing one of their power picks, their comfort picks for Sanji. I think they're in a good spot, at least for now, in the base of the draft.
One other thing that I like as well is they took away that
Belarusally.
so that just in case they want to use that Suyo, then they can. It's not immediately punished. Sure, it is
အေးလို့အမောဆက်လီနာတဲ့
burst damage, but the thing is, it's not as easy as you do.
And I like this too. I think, again, as we see this third pick break, do you enjoy the approach of maybe saving Rome till red 3?
ကောင်းနေသူတို့ကိုသူတို့ surround နေနေထင်နေရလားမသိဘူး
Phase?
If it's teams like YG and Spirit, yes. Because
သူတို့ကိုသူတို့အရင် strong နေနေထင်နေတာမသိဘူးလို့ငါတို့ဘာတွေစလီနာတွေဘာကောက်ခွင့်လား
on the map. But this is a really good response, I feel, from YG. They're sticking
အော်သူတို့ကိုသူတို့အရင်ဟုတ်နေပြီထင်နေတာလို့
just so much better in this composition where you have to buy block so much.
And I feel like YG has this calculated risk where they don't mind picking up the glue because, yes, it is one of their comforts, but also they just know Spirit's draft pattern to know that this is not going to get immediately punished. Sure, maybe
yeah.
this best of 7, eventually Hiko will pick up something like the carry and able to deal with both the Claude as well as the glue. The problem is, again, Eudora is
ခမရ coach တွားလုပ်ပေးလိုက်မလား
up against that carry, so
ဟိုဘက်က coach ခမရလာတော့မကောင်း
carry is such a good hero, but it's not without its risks.
Yeah, and I think you don't see two of the most important heroes to look at when you actually want to lock in your gold laner, which are
ဟိုဘက်က coach ကအကိုလောက်မ strong ဖြစ်နေတယ်
because these are the two heroes who could probably just be assigned to go after Hiko. And considering that we have so much less in terms of fighter options in the gold lane, then there might be so much more consideration put into that. Because I feel like even looking at what's left in terms of that, I don't think you see an assassin, or you could just predict an assassin to come through immediately for YG just to lock in a Ruby, which is more commonly a response towards that kind of jungler. So sticking with the marksman is still something that's probably going to come out.
ဟန် hero နော်ဟန် he ဟန်ကြံသေးတယ်
least wanted ones against their lineup, which is the Melissa.
Golden EXP being looked for on the side of Team Spirit. And when you come to YG, still looking for that EXP as well. And they're going to find their jungle pick. The Arlot taken away. So again, a ban towards the EXP. The Phobius also, but that still leaves a couple of things open. You still have the Uranus and the Esmeralda that can go toe-to-toe in the EXP lane. Both teams, are they content with that?
Yeah, I feel like YG was challenging Team Spirit because they were betting out the Phobias, which we haven't seen banned quite a lot, especially like you say, Uranus is still up, and Esme is still up, so they're kind of like saying like, are you gonna respect the Arlet? And looks like they have.
ညာဝင်မင်းညာချမ်းလို့နေထုတ်ဝင်လာ
Mind of picking up something like the Uranus or as the Esmeralda, just because I feel like with the glue as well as Eudora, it should be.
ယူလာပြီကိုယူလာ
Yeah, and there's
ကိုနာပေးတာထပ်ပြီးပါ
maybe them picking up the Nolan later on, which I feel would, if ever they're looking at either that.
I feel like last is fine because Suyo, Nolan. I still prefer Nolan. But
Yeah, so that could be an option if they really just took out the Phobias and maybe we're looking at that.
Ruby
But they're the ones who get the Ruby.
Ruby ပြလိုက်ပြီ
Yeah, this is Ying. So he can pretty much just pull it off however he wants, but Spirit, okay. They now fully know that this is gonna be Ruby XP and Cloud Gold. So do they still wanna go all in on time?
I feel like YG is also considering either they need a Harley for this one or they need a Nolan.
Oh yeah.
Or is it gonna be a game where they can scale up? Honestly, with this Lina, I don't think that you can really scale up something with the Lee Shin.
Right.
Summer or Uranus
I feel like this need at least one magic resist item and then she should be.
Yo Harry
Well, now she might need more because the Hive has been picking
哎呀 Lapu
and now the Lapu as well. So Lapu and Ruby, I would say it's a pretty.
ယူနေပြီထင်တယ်အကိုပြောသလိုပဲ
They don't want to fight around minions. And when there's minions around, they're just gonna like steal.
ရပြီလား 41 40အဲ့ငါ30ကျော်ပဲရှိသေးတယ်ဟာ
Since what feels like a few weeks ago, and so the Nolan it is. You guys called it, and you like it a little bit better. You said, LaFell.
ရပြီ
Just because the Nolan can match the
Okay.
speed of Aurora, but we'll see if this Selena does have the better
Nolan.
maybe Aurora will just be that bit faster. But I feel like YG has a comp that can slow them down
ကောင်းပါလေ
enough that it just
ကောင်းနေကောင်းနေ
neutralizes whatever advantage that the Selena can have around the jungle.
Yeah, and they can pretty much move fast enough to get away from danger. Well, at least that's what they need, because I think Spirit and
အော်တာပြီးနေအဲ့အော်နေအောင်လုပ်ထားနော်
setting up for team fights.
Well, it was an early game win for Team Spirit. YG, like we have not seen in this tournament, respond right away to even the score. A best of 7 turned to a best of 5. Who's going to take the
လို့
lead?
Harry ကကြောက်ဖို့မလို့
Gideon and Mirko.
Well, that's a really difficult question right now. I'm leaning a little bit into Yama only because they're a momentum-based team. You know, every single time they get that win, they just seem to be
Esport
sharper.
Podcast
They build up so much steam as they get right into this game. Teams are going to be on blue side facing off against the Yangon Galacticos on the red-purple start here from Czar and Sunset Lover. It's going to be a green chance start on the purple side for Yangon.
I just feel like Team Spirit's draft though, honestly. Just looking at the way that they play, how they, again, control these neutral objectives. It seems like they have built a composition to play around that, right? Even Bomba on an old,
Yeah,
but
play it, huh?
still signature.
Yeah, play it, huh?
Blue pick against Ying here. He's gonna have to be careful against the
ည
Ruby.
ဖြဲတယ်ဟာ
Ying's doing a good amount of damage, but he popped the regen, Ying.
Yeah,
So,
အခု AD မရှိဘာမှမဟုတ်ပါ
weird.
at least for Ruby, she's not hyper-reliant on
AD မရှိဘာမှမဟုတ်
naturally inbuilt sustain, just needs to walk up to the wave. I'm low, not a big item, not a big deal. But every single time she tries to go for the sustain, she's unintentionally.
အဲ့ဒါကောင်းနေဆန်ဂျိုအသေးမုန်းညာလား
Now, Sanji, if we look back at the emblems, it is season
ဆန်ဂျိုအသေးမုန်းညာလား
He did have to take the Purify. In the same
ဟာ
matchup here for both Sanji and Hiko.
Sanji. Where do we
ဟာလူကွာ
Nico will be able to get that gold crab and have the sunset weapon to relieve that pressure a bit. Kid Alpha spots out Han up top,
ညီမြင်တဲ့ခလုံးလင်းတဲ့ခလုံးနိုင်ညာလားမသိဘူး
walks up onto Han. Wave of fracture
အာရတယ်ကိစ္စမရှိဘူး
side. Now, these were the jitters I expected game one.
စင်ပြေသေးတယ်စင်ပြေသေးတယ်
I think maybe the pressure is starting to mount, and I think at least for Han, he recognizes like, okay, my ult technically up short. I can use it willy-nilly as long as there's like 15 seconds on that turtle. Then
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
fine.
yeah, ဟိုဘက်ချုံမှာ
Just
ရှိမှန်းသိ
go for other plays across the map. Question is, what is that play going to look like, right? Because every single time it comes down to the mid side, both teams are very well adjusted to each other. You can see that a lot of their rotations, they're not taking the dangerous paths no more. They're opening up the map slowly after sending 1 or 2 members.
ရတယ်ဒါတည်းဖိုးလို့ရတယ်ဒါတည်းရတယ်
Sweeper duty.
Mama got level 4 though.
အဲဒါပေမဲ့ဘလင်းက level 4မရသေး
With the season hunt.
ဘူးဘလင်းက level 4မရသေးဘူးပေးလိုက်အရင်ပါတယ်လို့ပေးလိုက်အရင်ပါတယ်ဒါတည်း
Retribution pick up the neutral objective again.
အေးပေးလိုက်ပါမဟုတ်အလုံးမလုံးမအောက်ကကောင်နေတာတယ်လေးရတာပြောနေကြတာပါတဲ့အော်နေကြတာနဲ့ဒါတယ်လေးရတာဟာ first ဒါတယ်လေးရတာ
Doesn't go vertically. He's going to head straight to his next buff here. Notices that it's missing. What can you do about it? Little Wonder is up in.
ဒီဘွဲဆက်လီနာမပါပါဘူးလားဒီဘွဲဆက်လီနာမပါပါဘူး
If he can zone Ying away from that lane, they're in trouble.
ဒီဘွဲဆက်ရအောင်ဖြတ်အဲ့ကောင်ဘာမှမဟုတ်နည်းနည်းတော့ဘက်တိုင်းချာနဲ့
They try to regain control over the map. Blink in the mid lane now, shoved away from that bush. Sour Ego still has a whole bottom side jungle to clear.
And I love the fact that Yangon are taking into account everything. Hey, Bomba's walking in a pretty weird direction. There's a good chance there's an abyssal arrow coming in the exact same linear trajectory. So at this point, Yangon have a lot of different things to think about micro-wise on top of making some heavy decisions. And I think for TS, they don't mind it taking it just a little slow, right? We're expecting objectives and nowhere else.
This is where it gets really good.
လိုက်ထဲပါမလားအမီးနဲ့လိုက်ပါနေနော်အမီးပုံပါနေနော်
Able to get away from the sync proficient, but the thing about the Harith is as long as he's able to survive that level 1 to 3, he gets complete monopoly over the gold crabs, and that's going to give him such a big lead later on. Obviously, if it continues here. So YG, I think they're gonna have to try sending some of those members down below to just take the gold crab away. It doesn't even matter if Sanji doesn't get it, as long as it's not on the hands of Hiko.
Yep, they just have to deny it. And let's not forget about the lane matchup. There still is a kill angle.
ရှင်ကတော်တော်အဆင်ပြေတယ်ဒီဘွဲက
Assuming that Sanji has no BMI and happens to get caught.
ကြည့်ပြီစနီနာ arrow ကြည့်ပြီ
Ideally in the middle of that Salmon Forest. The movement speed reduction really a pain in the butt in the early stages of Zelda. Okay.
အာရ track ကိုဘလို့ကြာလာစိတ်ညစ်နေ
Great composure coming in from Ying. If I was in that position, I would have flickered or something. But again, holding it close and making sure that they're playing against the wave to sandbag the lane.
လွဲတယ်ခင်ဗျကောင်းတယ်ရောက်ဖြတ်အေးဘယ်လက်ရီဂျီမိသွားတာရောက်ရေးဘယ်လက်ရီအဒီကကောင်းသွားတာဘယ်လက်ရီအဒီကြီးကောင်းသွားတာပြန်ယူအော်မရတော့ဘူး ဆောက်ခွက်ကိုရိုက်မဲရီကိုပြတာကြိတ်ပြီကြိတ်တယ်ဗျဟန်လွန်မဲပါတာဝဲဘောင်ချတယ်ရှင်းမရတော့မှာ အော်မိသွားပြီပြောလို့ dash ပြီးတော့နှစ်စင်းကုတ်တာမလား
They have to be on point, and Team Spirit understand they can't just fight willy-nilly. There's got to be a conversion area.
I thought he was chopped, and then he gets the killing spree proc, and then what happened here?
မဲအော်တာဗောရေး
Probably also screaming, so, my god.
တော့တက်နေတာဒီကောင်တွေကတော့
Motion. It's just crazy that the lethal ignition didn't proc away. They just needed one more auto attack. It would have done the job. Now the two flickers down on Sunset Lover and as well as Sour.
စင်ပြေသေးတယ် 2K ဆိုတာဘာမှမဟုတ်
Yangon Galactica is also about to get their own battle spells up. The major advantage really comes on to the multiple members of
နာဘယ်လက်ရီအဒီရှင်းသွားတာကောင်းတာငါလို့
Everybody has found a slight advantage.
Hiko is really becoming a problem though, right? He already held a monopoly over that gold crab. Now he's taking the XP crab, putting him at a great position for Turtle 3.
He's just a little itchy for these crabs, you know?
Sour. Hey, hold on now.
Okay, he's gonna proxy away very early on here, and look at the coverage coming up to the rest of TS, right? Han, if he can find this, that would be insane.
Sour's so smart. Every single time he never uses both the proxy, only just uses one to clear it out. That's why Han can't go in now. He's gonna be spotted. Sour to walk up again. He's gonna go with the retribution, and he wins it 50-50. As he so lands on Han, and now the rest of the team goes.
ကပ်ပတ် လိတ်ကင်းကြည့်သေးတယ် easy အမ်းပြဘူး
Playing a great position, holding it.
Amazing mechanics, really amazing mechanics. Can they get a little bit more?
လပူကအရင်အလုံးလုံးနေတာအာရပြတ်သွားပြီဟဲ့ပြတ်သွားပြီ ပူကအလုံးရမ်းလုံးနေတယ်ရော
Cannot be walking like that. Sunset with the capitalization, and now Kaize. It's gonna be so difficult for him to find first. Bob was just taking it like a champ.
Yup, and now from this this point onwards, we're expecting TS to just skyrocket. Their stonks are getting bigger and bigger. The gold lead and deficit here for Yangon spreads very thin. Abyssal Hour connects here, but look at Sauer. He wants to go in, and I'm pretty sure Sauer's telling him, relax.
I think Sauer knows exactly what he was doing there, man. He just wanted to bait out.
LIBBY ရှောင်းငိမ့်ဖြတ်နိုင်တော့နော်ဟောရဘလင်းကထိန်းထားပြီးတာနောက်မှာ damage လိုတာအဲ့ပြက်အဲ့တကောင်ရသေးရဲ့ဆန်းဆန်းလာပါပြက်တယ်damage မလောက်ဖြစ်နေတယ်
They trade out Sunset Lover for Blink. Ideal, it's not ideal, of course, but they got the battle spell out of Kaiser. No flicker for him. Making sure, let's look at the items real quick. 2 to 1.5 for the comparison between Sanji as well as Chico. Cheaper items as per usual. Even so,
ဟုတ်တယ်
items like Lightning Truncheons,
လိုက်ဂိမ်းပဲဒီကလိုက်ဂိမ်းပဲ
Chastised Ultra Beam,
မသိရင်ရပြီ
Sawas again. It's still a little difficult to take him out when he goes for those big flicker plays on top of the Wrath of the Dryads. Overall, the biggest problem right now is the fact that Zara can basically fight whenever alongside the Sunset
ပြ
Lover.
က် 4K ရမပြက်ဘူး
Doesn't matter how low he gets chunked out, he will be able to heal back to full as long as there's a wave, there's a camp somewhere.
Uh-oh. Careful, Sanji. Bombo jumps in with the flicker as well. Now he's going to raise the weapons to the imprison down. Now with the purify. It don't matter. With
ဟောLIBBY ကအရန်လုံးနေတော့LIBBY အရန်လုံးနေတော့ LIBBY Bellary ကြီးကဟုတ်နေတာဟာ
The fight was already over before it even began. I mean, he's going to try, but they're going to get him here. Zara executes him underneath the turret like it was nothing. Fallen Maple, baby. He's so good. He's young.
ရောင်ရီ Game 7 နေသွားမှာလား Game 7 နေမသွားဘူးနော်
Whether it be Zara, put him on something as overpowered as a Hirara, and it looks crazy. You gotta give it a Kid Bomba here. And also, it's more of a mistake on Sanji for just not instantly purifying and getting out of that position. He held it for a little too long.
And now it's a free
Easy,
control
easy, Japan, man.
10-1. 6.4k
ဂျန်ကြီးရရန်ဖတ်နေနော် 404
stealing away camps, but you know Hansa has retribution, still able to secure it. Fracture on the green camp, not giving anything away. But man, wait, sorry gonna kill off camera on Kaise.
I like
the replay. Oh my God.
Yup, just one shot him. Like, he is so strong right now. It's ridiculous. And he's maintaining these war axe stats.
Doesn't even have side piercer, right?
He doesn't. He's lived that.
ရပြီထိုင်လိုက်ရှင်းလို့ရပြီ Hey, you know,
level 15, you feel like an absolute monster with or without the CDR, right? Just the
okay.
natural damage that you have, and you're able to
တော့
triple
ဖြစ်
it
နေတာ
with
တော့ဖြစ်နေတာ
combo points.
Sauer.
အောက်ကနေ Tower pushing
Great spider now on YG. Oh, there's instant
ကျုံးကွာငါလုံးမLIBBY ရယွန်စရာကြီး
Get out of that. I'm offended, Ying. Just cannot.
အောက်ကနေ push ရတယ်
And look at it on the bot side, you can see that Han is trying
Battle,
his
battle.
best. Oh, yeah, it's 2-2. Blink should survive here, but
မရတော့ဘူး
end up losing it here. Oh, Lord, good Lord. I guess no.
Yeah.
No. This is a really tough game.
504 ဒါဖတ်နေတာ
All of the items, bro. What does he have? What is he packing?
I think he's already packing his fourth item at this stage, right? It's an 8k lead. I think 4,000 is like should be on Zara at this point. He's 2-level lead against Han. He's stolen what? How many buffs at this point? 3 buffs at this point. It's been difficult. It's been pretty difficult. He just getting, hey guys, it's me, Feather Heaven. Where y'all at?
Everybody's at 6 items. Like, yeah, better than
Guys, my investments are working out.
dude. I mean, for YG right now, there's literally nothing you can do. It's 11-1. You can only just in your face. It's in your
LIBBY ကြီးကသွားပြီးအလုံးလုံးနေတာအလုံးတယ်မှာသိဝေးငါတို့ကြောက်တုံးကြနာ
Ahead of Kaize, and somehow Han has not been able to find the big burst damage or the snowball that we were looking for. Holy 4 items! Yeah. Oh, I thought
Yeah.
he was a little short
ဒီ
on
ကွက်ရှိတော့ကြွက်ပဲလို့
but good old wonder. He's basically dealing true damage, right? Before YG members can even get
ကလောက်ပဲကြည့်ရတော့မှာကလောက်ဂျမ်းမေးထွက်နေပြီ
roar.
Yep. And I love the fact that Kid Bomba understands that he still needs
ကလောက်ပဲကြည့်ရမှာကလောက်နဲ့ယူတိုရာနှစ်ကွက်
like trying to green out, going for the Hunter Strike. He's like,
Mika,
alright,
nene.
I've got Queen's Wings, got the Chastised
မိက
Ball.
တကွက်လောက်လုံနေသေးတယ်
Every single time, and with the damage reduction, if I hit multiple people, even better. My anti-CC can get me in and out of these fights. So really, the all-in is dependent on Yangon more than it is for Team Spirit.
Damage taken as well. Bomba taking a beating, but really hasn't reflected. He has 0.
ရောင်ရီLIBBY ကမြင်တဲ့နေရာရိုက်တာခိုင်းစီကို
Again, bidding on some of those resources.
ပြက်တယ်ဆန်ဂျိုမီလို့မရဘူးရောင်ရီဆန်ဂျိုတဲအိမ်နာရောင်ရီ
Now Blink should be the next to walk here with an epically strong eco
န်ဂျီက damage ထွက်နေပြီဒါပေမဲ့ကောင်းလေးက damage စောင်းများနေတာငါတို့ဂျန်ဂဲရဲ့စောင်းဖတ်တော့ဒီအားဖတ်နေတာဒီဘာမှတော့မလုပ်လိုက်ရဘူး မရတော့အာ easy ဘာမှမဖြစ်ဘူးဘာမှမဖြစ်ဘူး မှတ်ထားတယ်အင်းနှစ်ယောက်မှတ်ထားတယ်အင်းနှစ်ယောက်မှတ်ထားတယ်
My goodness. It's been a while since we've seen Kid Bamba on the Lapu Lapu, but man, he reminds us why it was one of his main picks back in the day. It was literally just last year, where every single time Nance was styling on everybody, but unfortunately he couldn't lock it in for a win against the Philippines last year.
တော့ပူလောင်မယ်ဟဲ့တော့ပူလောင်မယ်